And we are live. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the once a month, if you're lucky, series of Dark Sun.
No. Every day, forever. I am Jennifer in real life now. Look at my muscles.
We don't appreciate your lack of faith, there, Michael.
Is it faith or is
your
it
lack of faith disturbing?
Listen, why don't we give a warm and hearty welcome to Jake? How about we do that? All right.
Hi, Jake.
What's up, Jake? Welcome to the show.
Start the show. Jake had a question that may or may not apply to his character.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Might give viewers a hint as to what his character can do.
When I activate both my mind blades, just in the buff section, it's not a standard action or anything for me to click the 2-weapon fighting, is it?
No. Two-weapon fighting is it's just a thing that you choose to do when you're attacking. And the what's it called? Even summoning those is a free action for you.
Okay.
So yeah, there we go. Cool. What's up, everybody? How we all doing tonight?
Hello.
I'm going to play Mortifer. I'm so happy.
I'm so tired.
Viceler's great, but Mortifer's actually useful, and I love him for that.
Well, I'm glad that you don't think Viceler is useful. I mean, I think
does anyone think? I mean, he's good at what? Two things: Arcana, which he always fails at, and being creepy, which he does succeed at.
If anybody was to come up to Thonk and say, "What is Viceler's purpose? What is he good at?" He'd probably say, you have a piece of the creature attached to you, so you're necessary to keep around for now."
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Honestly, with all the failures, that's fair.
Because the one time you showed me your power, it backfired spectacularly. With you having to eat people and...
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Literally, have you shown Thonk much power?
I distracted the Red Wizards during the assault, but you didn't even get to see that.
No, I didn't get to see that. What has Thonk witnessed?
Yeah.
It's funny because you actually just got into two pretty nasty fights and was very successful.
But Thonk got all the kills in the last one. So
I was
raging. He was raging.
I was raging,
so he wasn't paying attention. Yeah.
And you were doing... Yeah.
So
I helped us open a door.
That's you know what?
Congrats.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't matter what that weak old man can do. Mortifer's here, and Mortifer can open walls. Forget doors.
Yeah, this is my Second Life character, Mortifer. This is my.
He's my alt persona. Is that a thing?
My mom and I were actually just having a conversation the other day, and she was like, there's this Second Life thing I was thinking I was going to try out, and I literally just burst out laughing. I was like, no, Mom, please.
Is that still a thing? That's like a 10, 15-year-old game.
That's what I said. I was like, she's like, well, video games is supposed to be really good for keeping your mind active. I was like, not that game. For the love of Christ. She's like, well, I saw that movie Ready Player One. I was like, it's nothing like that, Mom.
Classic game, like some Leisure Suit Larry or something. Let your mom experience.
Just tell her it's the same thing as Ready Player One, and when she witnesses the first virtual banging happening, it'll be great.
Yeah, I don't want to have to get into my conversation with my mom while she's trying to describe to me the horrors of what she experienced in that game. I don't want to be there for that. I just want to be like, I just want to say, told you, not listening. Told you, not listening. Anyways. Listen, I myself still don't fully understand what uwu means, and I am perfectly happy living my life considering the warnings that other people are giving me. So, back to the game at hand. What were we saying about Viceler?
He's not here tonight. Mortifer is. Show proper respect, please.
Oh, there's a yawn going on.
Mortifer's getting impatient for lazy.
All right. So last time, what had transpired? You guys had obviously defeated the creature. You had gone to seek your reward. Had talkie stuff happen. Did not actually get to speak to the Sorcerer King because he had stepped away with concerns of something going on in the region. Instead of you getting the opportunity to speak to the Sorcerer King, you were given a second job to do, but told that you'll be greatly rewarded for finishing this task.
I just want to time out here at this. Greatly rewarded. I've played how many D&D campaigns with you guys at this point? And I don't think once have we been rewarded for anything that we've done.
Excuse me. Whoa. Hold on. if you succeeded even in a single Arcana check last night or the week before, you would have found magic items and
You
been,
rigged the
"Ooh,
dice, sir.
it's fake news. I don't appreciate that. This is
I just want to point out your great rewards. It's hollow at this point. It's like promising to get ice cream if he's good at the dentist, and then instead he gets a dinosaur eraser when he's walking out of the dentist office.
That's
And it's
why
like, I like dinosaurs, but I don't have a pencil to put it on.
That's why I wouldn't be too worried about the whole Jack saying you'll get $2,000 while he pockets like a profit of $6,000.
Luckily, Mortifer doesn't care about.
Because it's not
money.
going to happen. I'm not going to get it.
Mortifer does not care at all about the reward. It's all about the combat. But Wade is just making a note here of the lack of rewards in any campaign, no matter who the DM is.
Hey, you gotta join Aurorum because we get so much stuff.
well, they do get a lot.
Yeah, but Scott,
of treasure.
you have the bias of like it's Scott's homemade world, so he just wants people to love being
Oh,
there. So
no,
he's
no,
like
no.
flowering you with
Oh,
presents.
no. I just beat the shit out of them left and right.
He's paying people to like his work. He's like, isn't it great? Look, there's a treasure room. It's my treasure. Help yourselves, guys. Come on in. Look, I can. There's another one right there. Have it.
It's
Isn't
actually
it
a
all great?
chest that just refills with magic items and potions and stuff. So
Yeah, they literally just hold a pocket-sized chest that makes a real chest appear in front of them, and there's just stuff inside there waiting for them to take it.
Meanwhile, in this game, Scott gives me 3 gold. I'm like, oh wow, I've got gold. And he's like, oh, 2 weeks later, he's like, did I say gold? I meant, what's the worst thing I can give you? Dirt. You got 3 dirts. Like,
Ceramic plates. Thank you very much.
Dirt. Please continue with your great rewards that we were promised.
And a task, which you're currently put on. To find after the great earthquakes that had happened recently, there was a split that had happened in the ground, and you were to go and investigate that area.
We're on our way.
We're on our way.
You're on your way.
I don't know what else there was to do. I can't remember if we were doing anything else. There was
Through the desert, we ran into some scorpions, and that was about it, I think.
I think you wanted-
we fought scorpions at the end. That's right.
Last time we talked about you refilling some of your drugs and whatnot. Realistically, you just need an Excel spreadsheet of your favorite drugs and like the time it takes to create, the cost it takes to create, and like how many you can make or whatever. Like a simple spreadsheet like that we can be like, Scott, I have 2 days. I'm going to make this, and this, and paying this cost. And I go, cool.
We already did that.
You already set that up for yourself?
Yeah, we did. Well, I didn't set up that, but we did that last session. Is what I'm saying.
No, I know. I was saying last session we also talked about that.
Yeah,
but I think
yeah.
you've already.
I know.
accomplished-
I need to get like a little thing.
Yeah, cool. So what Mike is saying, if somebody wants to do it for him, he'll say thank you.
I certainly ain't got the time to do that right now.
Uh-huh.
And
I mean, with his mouth, you could work on it.
Straight up, that's true.
So you guys are leaving the city state that you were in beforehand, heading towards the schism. So as you're finally making your way over towards there, but I do, because you don't really have a map or anything like that, but you did have a general direction you need to go in.
I did roll a survival. I rolled some kind of check that was really good last time for that.
Oh, did we already roll the check?
I rolled at least one before we ran into the scorpions, and I rolled well on it. I think it was survival, or it was. I had to roll something for us making the trek, I believe.
I gotta see where it is because I
don't think I'm dreaming that because I don't roll those very often.
Because I was gonna say, because last time I had Jake and Mortifer fighting. So okay, here we go. This is 1 second. I got it right. Mortifer survival check, Jack perception check, initiatives transpired.
I thought the survival was before the battle. Maybe it was after.
Jack cast rage on somebody.
Who do you think between the two of us? Who would he have raged?
Well, not gonna be.
Jack rages. He runs in with a stick. Boop, boop, boop. He does 1 HP with 3 attacks.
Pretty much
Which
how
is
it
to kill it. Take the kill from Mortifer, because that's what happens in this campaign all the time.
You did your fortitude save at the very end. Oh, I don't think you never finished your survival check because you got attacked by the scorpions along the way. That's right. So what I need for you is another survival check because you did make one before, but then you got into the scorpion fight. So I need from you a.
I rolled too well, and you were like, "Oh, Wade rolled well. I better take that away by making something attack." All right, survival check, whatever. I'll take it.
You did have a 24 last time, which was saving you some time, putting you on your path. Blah blah blah.
Well, I'll take a 20 now.
Hey, you did take a 20.
Good
Someone can
job.
make me stealth check. I have a chance.
To say it's legitimately impressive. Thank you very much. So the trek there is not very difficult, not very arduous. After, of course, the combat that you just took that just took place, this is all going to be. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to get a cup of coffee at some point. So
Yes, you're really making me tired.
sorry, long days. So you you actually are going to be traveling for another 3 days after that fight with a scorpion. Unless I'm mistaken, Wade, you have the ability to completely like purge your body of all the poison and to repair all damage that the scorpion did to you in that amount of time. Correct?
I do, but I'm getting kind of low on everything, so we might need to take like a night to rest.
Yeah. So since over the course of 3 days, you would probably spend one of those nights fully resting, and Jack instead could just watch you
Okay.
for that night.
So I guess in order to fully do this, I'd probably take like an hour, use a mythic point, refill my power points, use that to heal my ability damage, and then on the full night's rest, I could get all my stuff back, and then I'd be in good shape.
Yeah. So the way I kind of see this happening, and Mike, please argue if you think otherwise, because he's more or less going to be doing, you guys constantly do like the 1 hour rest thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the very end, he's going to have to actually take a full night's rest. And your character would just be able to watch over him without actually resting. So we can go into this with you missing one mythic point, and otherwise both of you guys being fully charged up.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay. And that allows Mortifer to come in a couple days later, 100% beefed.
Okay.
Cool.
That
Awesome.
is good, because I forgot how close I came to death last game. It was pretty close.
You're at what? Yeah.
I was at 1 constitution point and 0 was death.
Mhm.
My hit points never got that low, but the constitution damage was just
Yeah, you were being poisoned out the ass. I would have. We did go over. I did take some of their venom, right, Scott?
You did take some of the venom to do things that create anti-venom.
Yeah.
Also, when you get access to it, I'm not sure what level you get access to the spell. You could create what's it called? Delay poison is a great spell to have.
Yeah. That's definitely gonna be something I want at some point.
Cool. So as you guys are traveling along, one of the things that you're going to notice is that kind of like the ground around where you are, traveling the dunes, so on and so forth. I believe the region that you end up traveling towards gets out of sand. Let me just double check here from Europe. You end up traveling out of sand and into where it gets more barren, like rocky lands, because you're not quite near the base of the mountains yet, but you're heading in the direction of the ringing mountains. So the land goes from being dunes of sands to being very, very rocky, but like rocky with like a thin layer of sand on top of it. So it's still constant, like a dust or sand that you're kicking up, but it's only about an inch or two deep and not like all the way down, right? So as you're making your way up to this like kind of like rocky area, the ground once again gets a little strange. As you're traveling along, it literally starts to have little cracks here and there in the hardened ground. You can tell the cracks because they're exaggerated, because not only is it just cracks in the ground, but the sand around where they would have been kind of fell into the cracks, kind of exaggerating it, because you're seeing sand with like little almost like slits in the ground, but like, jagged and it's not uniform, not clean looking at all. Giving you the impression, of course, of you heard that there was a giant chasm that had appeared in the area, and that there was this happened after the earthquake. Moving forward, getting closer and closer, you notice that these little cracks get larger to the point where Jack actually has to now kind of keep an eye of where he's stepping, because he could easily, from a crack, kind of set the ground slightly off balance. He could trip over it, like being at, like, I don't know, a friend or a grandma's house. You didn't realize that there was a threshold.
Yeah.
Not perfectly. Oh shit! Oh, okay. So Jack kind of has to be careful, and then it gets to the point where traveling a little bit further, that even Mortifer is like, oh. Because like Jax has like little steps to take, not big ones, but like a few inch deep little steps to take, and here and there. And Mortifer has to watch to not stub his toe, because if Mortifer fell on Jack, then Jack would die, and Mortifer would be lonely without him, and Mortifer would. Anyways,
if it got that treacherous, Jack could literally just hop on like Mortifer's shoulder.
I mean, it'd make it easier.
I don't, it's funny because Jack's not that much smaller than you. It's kind of like a child compared to you, but not like a toddler compared to you.
I doubt he would help. He would even go over 1 tier of my carrying capacity.
I wasn't worried about that. It was just how it would look.
I'm not
It
worried about
looked
how it look.
It looked like I had a
We're out in the middle of the
manservant
desert.
carrying me
Who's
through the
gonna look?
desert. Is what it would look
Yeah,
like.
who's gonna look? Who's out here to see anything?
Okay, so here's the question. Does he like sit on your shoulders, like one leg around either side of your neck, like his hands resting on the top of your head?
Oh, Jack
kinda
absolutely
like-
would be like that. Yes.
It's like Freak the Mighty. You guys ever read the book Freak the Mighty?
My
No.
feet probably like you see him over the shoulders. My feet dangle, and they'd probably even like a subtle like kick that I'm doing, like I'm actively swinging my feet. And I probably swap from elbow to elbow, lean my hands on his bald head, maybe even rub it a couple times because it's interesting.
Here, I'm gonna link this for you on.
I collect scraps of dead skin off of his scalp for later potential experimentation.
Here you go, chat. Here's I'll link you guys. It's just a Google book. You can see the book title. There's a shadow of what Jack riding Mortifer would probably look like.
He even has the colander upside down on his head.
Yeah, untied laces and the sword,
Exactly.
little dagger.
Exactly.
I mean, the real question then, Mortifer, is out of when the last time either of you have ever given a piggyback ride or a sit on the shoulders ride, Jake, I'm sure you have many times. But one of the things that children like to do when they're up there is to do things like rest their chin on there
Yeah.
or their elbow, and it fucking hurts. Like it's no joke. You're like, ow!
Mortifer's good. All he ever has to do is complain one time, and then Jack is gonna basically poke. Oh, what? You can do a life in the arena, but you can't carry me.
I was gonna say, what part of Mortifer's skin wouldn't be scar tissue or calloused at this point?
His beautiful bald head, just like yours, Wade.
He's not bald. Mortifer's not bald. He's not me. He's a fictional character.
Jack, do you want to tell him about the?
Jack just casually starts quietly shaving his head. And you're so scarred you don't feel it.
Do me a favor, actually. That's funny. Roll me a dexterity check.
Dexterity check.
I'm gonna throw your ass into the chasm.
Oh.
That was an unfortunately bad roll.
Jack can walk the rest of the way.
I don't tire, so it also doesn't really matter.
So, anyways, and then Wade, you also have to worry about like stepping on the areas and kind of tripping over it. Now, as you're walking along, obviously from like your vantage point being as tall as you are, Wade, Mortifer, not Wade, you're short. You can see it from the distance, off in the distance. You can see that the ground just seems to stop ahead of you. It just splits open. As the two of you approach, I don't know if you've ever visited the Grand Canyon or anything as majestic as that, or similarly. When you go walking up towards this huge chasm, there's this huge split in the ground. The direction that you're approaching, funny enough, happens to be just shy of the tip of this thing. Because as you approach and you come to the sheer cliff face, you look to one side, you can actually see maybe about a mile's distance off where it is that the other side of the land comes to its point and re-meets with the earth. And when you look to your right, you can see that it just goes on as a widening schism in the ground. As far as your eye can see, you can see both sides. As far as you can actually see this side of the chasm, you can just barely make out the other side as well. So it's not so far wide that it's like, oh, there's miles upon miles. But you know, it is very bright, so you don't have like perfectly clean vision and whatnot. So the two of you are just standing there, looking at this huge, schism, this huge, chasm in the ground. Do me a favor, roll me a perception check, both of you.
Booyah.
We see a lot.
Yeah, we're both doing well there.
Wow, you are both very, very, very perceptive boys. So with those perception checks, you're very easily able to surmise that what exists down there, underneath this ground, what exists in this area, is, it looks like a dying, broken forest. You see, this was the chasm, from what you're told, is new. You didn't see any markings on the map that show that there was ever a chasm here beforehand. So you don't believe this chasm existed before. But instead what you find is in the split in the ground at the base of it, under the sheer rock face, with areas that might be a bit more climbable than others, but for the most part, a very sheer rock face along its side. Down at the base of it, you see what looks to be a destroyed forest that's already starting to wilt and change color and whatnot. I say destroyed forest because even though there are many, 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 many trees down there, the forest, all the trees are kind of like knocked over. They've been broken down by their base or whatever. Maybe whatever it was that caused the chasm to form, maybe the trees are sitting above the chasm before and they fell in. You don't know. But what you do know is that there's a whole bunch of just broken greenery that's down there on the ground, lying on top of itself. You don't really see much movement until you notice a form climbing up the actual rock face itself. It's not having an easy go of it, but not struggling too terribly much either. Instead of climbing, as I said beforehand, it widens a wide gap, most of that sheer, over towards the area to your left, about a mile away, where you see that the rock is kind of coming to its point, where both sides are meeting. It has a bit of a stepped area that is much easier for climbing. You see them climbing up over there. They're still a good ways down, but coming to the surface.
Just one?
One person. You can't really make up many details because again, they're about a mile away. You can just see the movement. You can see the person.
There's a moment where I'm sure Mortifer and Jack both look at each other and meet eyes, and then maybe even just silently have like nod to one another without wanting to raise suspicion. I imagine we would want to start heading that way, and heading that way as quietly as possible.
Yes, stealthily.
For Jack, anyway. So Jack will kind of give a nod, like we're going to head in that direction, and then Jack would just kind of take a couple steps forward, and Mortifer, you just see him go and just like disappear.
Turn invisible?
Yep.
Okay, like I said, it's about a mile away.
Mile. That's
so
right.
you'd go like maybe
some
4
distance.
spots,
Yeah.
And Mortifer, obviously, if you're trying not to be seen, while Jack might walk along the cliff's edge, not on the edge, but pretty close to it,
Yeah.
Mortifer would just have to hang back a little bit to stay safe.
Yeah. Here, just for kicks, while I'm hanging back and staying safe, I just want to see how good I do. There you go. That's a 9. I rolled a 9 there.
That's fine.
Mortifer, I don't know if you know this, but the person trying to perceive you takes a -1 penalty to the perception check for every 10 feet. How many feet divided by is a mile? Is it
5,280? Is that right?
Yeah, I think that is correct. 5,280 divided by 10 is 528. They take as a penalty to their perception check.
So
They probably still notice you.
even gods might have issues, apparently.
Gods have
Very hard to spot Mortifer.
Things in like miles radiuses.
And this flat desert tundra, this 12-foot tall man is very hard to see. He's as stealthy as a boulder rolling down a hill at you.
So, anyways, my apologies. So you make your way over in that direction. As you kind of Jack, you're eventually gonna, when you're getting close to the edge, cast some visibility on yourself. Have Mortifer hang back maybe 200 feet or so he's not anywhere near the edge, and you go walking and watching.
Mm-hmm.
You see the person in better detail trying to climb, but how well are they climbing? I don't know. Uba, could you roll me a climb check, please?
Sure you won't let me acrobatics up there?
Hup, 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 doing flips.
I believe I say climb.
All right, here we go.
Not
The
well.
person as you're walking towards there seems to be stuck. I mean, beforehand when you were watching them, they were making some pretty good progress.
How far down?
Making some pretty good progress. But now maybe about 200 feet from the face, it seems like the wall itself got much more steep, much more sheer. And so that you literally, as you kind of like turn yourself invisible and start walking along the edge and watching, you see them try to climb up one area, end up sliding back down, and climb up another area and slides back down. Checks their arm because they feel scratches on their arm. But
What am I looking at? What does it look human to me?
And then they kind of like take a step back and they start looking around, both at the area where the back's kind of to you, and then maybe even over in your direction as well, trying to find which path is going to be the best one to climb up there. Now, Jake, could you describe what he sees?
Yeah, so is he looking at the back of me?
You kind of scanning the whole area, you'll be able to see all of it. Give him a 360. Do that. Turn about for him.
Well, we do have a picture, but he is he's dark skinned. He's about 5'6", and he is bald completely until the back of his head, where he has a very long braid arm.
Time out. Is that why you said
right.
mostly Wade for the hair? Is that why the description says mostly Wade? Please continue.
I did not put it in there.
Oh, I don't have any doubts who put that there.
And if you're close enough, and you get a look at his eyes, yeah, his eyes are actually completely yellow, and there's no pupils.
So he looks at least human enough, but some sort of altered human in some way.
He chromed
at least
out
at
on
a
the
look.
screen,
All right.
Mike.
Cool. Huh? Yeah, I saw that. So I was like, shit. Okay.
I thought that was visible.
I will patiently watch for like another round or two, basically,
Okay.
and see if he struggles as much.
I imagine we have some kind of signal system. If I can I see Mike this far away?
No,
Probably.
I'm invisible.
Oh, that's right. No, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I can get a good view and not get caught.
Analyzing the situation one more time, just trying to find the best path up there. You think you found maybe the best path for you to go. Planning it out. You think it's going to rely again more on strength than on maneuverability, at least until you get a little bit higher up. Then you could probably find yourself into a more acrobatic area. You have to make that climb check again.
Okay.
If it wasn't bad enough that the forests that you call your home had been split apart, I mean, there was always a thin chasm that existed in this area. You were aware of that. There was always like a thin area where enough light came through that the type of trees that grew in your home were able to grow in mostly a shaded area. But there was tons of heat that came off of the Ephesian sun and the ground above. Cool down below in your home. Sure, again, lots of sunlight, but all those plants, all that shade, all that air, it really kept it a bit moist down there. It really kept it a really a cool feeling. Now, if it's not bad enough that your home has been completely destroyed and you're not entirely sure there's even any survivors left, here you are just trying to climb out of this damn hole, just trying to get all the tunnels that you knew of beforehand, all the areas that you knew to come to the surface beforehand seemingly collapsed. Just try to find aid. You cannot get out of the damn place. Seems like you're stuck here.
Can I activate my Zephyr Blades and just try and stick it into the side of the chasm?
Absolutely. So you just kind of sit there and just like describe what that looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see he's not making like any progress, and he's extremely frustrated. He's looking around for anywhere that he could jump to and kind of use his natural dexterity. Seeing that it's a bit too far away, you just see him kind of look around, and then he brings his hands up in front of his chest, and you just see him like flick up and then come down, and then all of a sudden this blue energy appears in the form of kind of like
I'm personally
Assassin's
imagining.
Creed have
Okay. Yeah. The hidden
thing?
blade. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like that, but so it looks like it's coming out of him and it's attached to him, but it's probably about that long.
Would I recognize that as psionics in the very at least I'm assuming because of just what this world is like?
First of all, knowledge psionics, and second of all, for those of you that remember Mathis StarCraft,
Well, yeah, I was definitely thinking Protoss the entire time.
he's a zealot.
Yeah.
Knowledge psionics is not a choice.
It should be on your character sheet.
No.
It
Right
should be at
above
the bottom of your
linguistics.
character sheet.
Bottom?
Right above linguistics, I have knowledge psionics. Auto hypnosis is the very bottom.
I have knowledge religion.
Oh, you're supposed to put knowledge psionics down. I guess you never put ranks into it.
Yeah.
But you do have knowledge here. I'll apply it right now. Knowledge psionics. You have points in Arcana. which
Yeah,
is funny.
Arcana because it's just because of
Oh
potions.
yeah, you're just not trained
Yeah.
in knowledge
I
psionics.
have one psionic ability I used on the first episode once.
Oh,
and
it's
that's it.
also not a class skill for you.
No.
Oh, so you can roll.
I'm
but
like
you
I'm like
technically-
the remnant of a bygone era.
Yep.
So do you want me to roll a psionics check anyway?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. 13.
You unfortunately have no idea what that is. You get the idea. It's probably psionic in
Psionics.
nature.
Yeah.
You get the idea, but you have but you're not for certain. You've never seen this before, heard of it before.
Cool. No worries. Then I will observe and see if that helps him.
It does, because it gives you anchors to be able to get inside there. Sure, sure. I'm going to allow you to roll a climb check one more time because you're strengthening your way up there. However, they're getting a +5 modifier.
I'm gonna need it.
91. Ah, close enough.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
flat 0. It's because your armor is giving him a penalty. And so he starts climbing up, and it's one of those funny things where you don't fall. You know, it's not that you necessarily fall. It's that you get stuck, like really stuck. You start climbing and angling yourself over and whatnot, and trying to get over, like, okay, away from the ledge that I was standing on beforehand. There's a spot up there that should be nice and easy. Funny enough, Jack, he's almost climbing towards you.
Okay.
And you're still walking. Because you haven't stopped. There's no reason to. You're invisible. You just keep walking in that direction. He's now probably about 250 feet away from where you are, distance-wise. And then probably about, because he was 200 feet down before, probably about 150 feet down from where you are right now. So 250 away, 150 down. And all of a sudden, you climbing, all of a sudden, you realize you're stuck. Everywhere you try to place your foot, there's no place to brace your foot. For you to get like a spot to kind of like brace yourself with like a 3 anchor or something, so you can pull your arm out and grab it on the spot. You can feel your blades themselves. They're sunk in the stone, but they almost feel like one of your arms is slightly starting to shift, like it's cutting through the stone. It's a weaker stone, like a limestone or something. So you kind of like feel it shifting. You're like, oh shit, this is a very precarious position. And you do the worst thing that you could possibly do. You look down. The next closest ledge is not close.
I think seeing him get stuck, this will probably be at the point where I drop the invisibility. I'm walking and leaning slightly over the edge, and like very casual stroll. My hands are behind my back, kind of leisurely. I kind of looking down at him. I'll shout out very simply. So this thing's on a timer?
No, but I might be.
Friend? Or something else?
I don't know who you are, but friend sounds good to me.
I'll look back and see if how close Mortifer is.
Mortifer's consistently stayed pace with you, easily just kind of like marching on, like, where's Jack? So he might even be a couple steps ahead of you because he didn't see you slowing down.
Sure. Then so continuing to talk, I imagine Mortifer will hear me shouting at this point, and whether he's ahead or behind, we'll see where I am.
He talks to himself very loudly and very audibly. He might not.
Mortifer cannot find Jack. And Mortifer's trying his best to be quiet. Where is Jack?
I continue the conversation then. All right.
Do you want to roll a perception or something, Scott?
No. You notice. I was just being funny.
I cross my arms and kind of stop walking. Strike you a deal then. Answer a few of my questions, and I'll see if I can get you out of there safely.
You see him, and he's just like, his arms kind of sliding down. He's like, okay.
Answer these questions 3.
What is your favorite color?
So I kind of make like a very overly dramatic kind of hand motion gesturing at the entire chasm. You fall in? Heard this thing just showed up.
Yeah, believe it or not, this was my home. It was a forest, and one day I was sleeping. The next day, I just wake up in the middle of the night, down in a chasm.
And for a point of reference, Jake, that was about a month ago that it took place, and you've just been trying to pick your way through the rubble since then?
They probably tried to climb up a bunch of times, and this has happened, but just like lower down.
So this place was above once.
Yeah, not too long ago.
Why are you trying to get out? Looks like plenty of food, shade from the sun. Looks nice.
Well, everyone that was here is dead. Nobody here anymore.
You're the only one that survived.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
The only one that I've found in the last month.
I mean, it was a very blunt response. I quite enjoyed it.
Everyone here is dead. Time to go.
Everyone's dead.
Dying.
It fell into
White
the ground.
Under a rock.
You're the only one that survived. This next question either will make sense or you'll think I'm crazy. Have you been hungry? Needed sleep? Anything like that recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've needed to sleep? Okay. Mortifer! I shout for Mortifer. And then I step away.
Mortifer's been looking for you.
You're like right behind me.
Yeah. Oh. How far down does it look like
He's like 250 feet away from us.
So you kept walking towards him, right? Are
Yeah,
you now
yeah, I kept
standing more or
walking
less
towards
over him.
Yeah, I imagine that's why
He's
I kinda
150
stopped.
feet down.
There you go. I kind of make a shoulder, like, in gesture, and just for you to look down. So you see, by the way, my character, I don't know if you know what he looks like. Very dark-skinned as well. Pitch white hair. And his clothing, though dirty, looks out of place. Like, it's just too nice for someone who should be wearing traveling clothes, more or less. So you see him kind of pull back, and you just see, I assume, Mortifer lean over.
Yeah, so
I'm guessing as he leans over, I'm looking up, and then all of a sudden, like, my hand like slips through the rock. So then he quickly like just jams it back in.
so he's about 100 some odd feet down.
150, yeah. And like you said, when you lean over, you see him stumble, basically. I go, when you look over, Jack just kind of mentions, he needs help. He says he's been living in this forest and it got engulfed by this thing. And, well, doesn't look like he's going to be able to hold on for too much longer.
Very well, try harder, little man. Mortifer have to go down the mountain.
I like, if he asks that, like, I don't know this guy, you don't know this guy. We could let him slip to his death and climb down and pick his body clean later if we wanted to. Rules of the desert.
Little man, are there scorpions down there?
I haven't seen any.
All right, I might go down.
Have you got a rope?
I don't know.
I don't know if we have one that would be that long. That's a long way down.
My entire inventory list, beyond a couple of things, is just drugs.
I mean, I imagine that Mortifer's kind of a pack mule for more reason than one.
Yeah.
And you could definitely use, say he has rope on him. You know, a 50-foot length of rope.
How big can you get?
He can go gargantuan sized.
Well, how tall will that make him?
22, 45 feet tall?
That doesn't get you down there very safely.
Is there a big open landing anywhere on the way down, Scott? Or is it all like little ledges?
Little ledges and whatnot, but you can make a perception check to look for exactly what you're describing.
Bloop.
Not for a while after where he is, like a considerable while, maybe 110 feet. So you're talking dropping 260 feet to get somewhere safe.
All right. Well, I guess I will attempt to climb down to get to him. But quick question for you, Scott. Because of my class, I know how vigor can work for me. Can catfall also work like that as a swift?
Catfall is actually an immediate action, which means that you do it to interrupt something else happening.
So if I slip and fall, I can activate it on the way down.
Yep, exactly. As long as you haven't already used your swift or immediate
I
this
just want to
turn.
make sure that I had that before I try this, because I'm also not the most graceful half giant in the world.
Well, one of the things that you could do is you could preemptively choose to do that too. Because, like, what did I say, about 260 feet? So
yeah, the way it activates is I think it can only last so many rounds. So if I'm climbing down over a period of time,
well, a couple of things. One round per level, and so it's one of your class feature, your class ones, whatever they're called, path ones. So it's 9. That counts as level 9. So it's 9 levels, and then it's 50 feet. The fall is reduced by 50 feet per power point. So if you spent, say, 5 power points, 260, is now treated as a 10-foot fall.
I'm not gonna let you make me blow my load before I have to.
I mean,
I'm gonna try to climb down now that I know I can cast that if I fuck it up.
okay,
So it's just climb checks to get down.
sure. If you want to do that, if you want to climb check to get down.
Okay, so I guess I'm not gonna look to go all the way down to him, but I'm gonna try to move down far enough to where this rope could reach him.
We only have 50 feet of rope, I thought.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's why I'm climbing down like 50 to 100
Oh,
feet.
I see what you're saying. And then you're gonna have. Oh, and then you. Okay. That was me like
All right.
in real time
Anything-
connecting the dots.
Here's where the natty 1 comes that Wade doesn't want to see. Come on. Okay.
The dice didn't even roll. It just went. Meh.
Yep. That's the way it goes. I know how this game works for me.
Oh God! Don't fall too, dude. I can't come get you.
What I need you to do, Jake, is I need you to roll me a climb check as you're trying to hold yourself.
Okay.
That's just cruel.
Hey, 9 brothers.
You're definitely still slipping out. Oh God, you're literally just kind of bracing yourself. The way you're kind of handling this right now is you kind of have to like re-angle your daggers and shove them up. And so as your daggers are kind of like shoving up and kind of holding onto the stone and slowly cutting through the stone, you have your feet braced against the wall and like pushing against it. So like actively pushing against the wall with your feet and like pulling with your arms to try to keep you from falling. Your biceps, everything are really starting to feel the burn. You can feel the sweat coming. You're not somebody that's super used to the heat either. So you can feel the heat and everything on you. It's not very pleasant. Mortifer, you start trying to climb down and almost immediately you slip and you're not exactly quick. You're giant. You're like, and so you try to grab onto the wall. You end up sliding down 25 feet and just barely hanging on. We're talking like at one point in time when you stop, you grab hold of a boulder to stop, and your whole body kind of like flares out as you hold onto the boulder. You're like, and you pull yourself in.
Mortifer
Barely
meant to go
secured.
down fast. But now I'm holding on to something again.
Yeah, barely.
How far down is he from me?
I said 25. That's 125 feet.
All right. Do I need to do another climb check to try to get a hold of myself and move down more?
You do, and Jake, you don't have to make one quite yet. You will soon, though.
All right. That was good. 19.
All right, good. And what's your speed? Is 30. So you actually are able to climb down like another 30 feet. So now he's only about 95 feet beneath you as you spend your turn like slowly, like not even that slowly. Realistically, that's pretty quick.
As I'm making my
Making
way
your way
down,
down.
can I make another perception check at some point to see if I find a better spot to try to throw the rope down from?
Yeah. Okay, roll me that perception check. And I'm sorry, just because we're not just doing one round, right? It was a period of time. You went another 50. So
Okay.
he's 75 feet away from you. Mm-hmm.
20.
You actually do see a good spot that you can anchor the rope to, kind of within reach of where you are right now. But the problem is, like, it's not a long enough rope at only 50 feet to get him. Like, if he could come up 25 feet, then he could do something. But looking down beneath that, the next place you can find yourself a spot to kind of like semi-anchor, it's a little bit beneath where he is. This isn't a drop and catch yourself. This is you could find yourself standing, I don't want to say comfortably, but you can find yourself standing about 25 feet beneath him instead.
Okay. Is this platform up here big enough to where if I grew in size, my arm could reach down far enough to get the rope to him?
You don't know if the rocks themselves are strong enough to hold you. You can roll me a intelligence check to survival check.
Oh, that's much better. No, it's not, but it's better than the intelligence would have been.
You don't know. Honestly, it's like it's not budging as you pull it, and Mortifer's very strong. And if Mortifer pulls something, it doesn't budge. It must be very strong.
This is true. Yeah, you know what? He would risk it. I'll go over to the platform and I'll use my power points to enlarge. Do I think I need to go all the way to a huge or gargantuan or just huge to reach down?
It's up to you, man. What you think
I'm
you need
huge.
to do?
I'm 22 feet, which means my arm span would be an 11 foot. So my arm's probably 9 feet. No, it's not long enough. Mortifer didn't do that math. Wade did. Mortifer would look at the rope, look at him. Actually, you know what? He wouldn't know. What would I roll for Mortifer to try to calculate the length of the rope and see if that would be large enough? Is that intelligence?
Intelligence, yeah. I always want to say with disadvantage for Mortifer.
Wow, what a roll.
Good job, buddy.
Oh yeah. Mortifer thinks that specifically the length of the rope and being able to reach down, he would have to be gargantuan sized to have his arm be long enough. Specifically, if he wants to do it from where he's going to be not standing, but like bracing himself kind of comfortably, like grabbing onto like a rock here and kind of getting his foot dug in here and like reaching down. Gargantuan size would definitely be long enough. Huge size he would still be just shy.
But he also doesn't know if this platform can hold, because a gargantuan-sized mortifer weighs a substantial amount more than a normal mortifer, which already weighs 1,500 pounds. How much does he weigh gargantuan-sized? It's times 9, is that right?
Times 8.
Times 8. So times 8 and times 8 again.
Yep, that's a lot.
Let's just, for the lulz, let's type that out.
1590 times 8, then times that by 8.
Okay, so 101,000 pounds. That's a lot of weight for a little cliff face. The one that's below him, does that one look bigger and sturdier?
That one's definitely sturdier. You don't know if it's going to be big enough for somebody, once again, of that size. Down below, large size, huge size, you're pretty confident. Here,
so here's what he's going to do.
Confident.
He's going to tie off the rope on this boulder and then try to climb down to get him and help carry him back up to where he can get to the rope.
Sure.
So do I need to roll anything to tie a rope?
Yeah, it's only because there's a risk if you fail. Roll me a dexterity check.
Intimidate? Can I intimidate the rope into bowing to my...
Hey.
Oh, that one! It stopped on the one for a second. Oh, I was about to natty one the rope tied. Mortifer would have been like, good job.
You tied the rope very well. You're barely holding on while he's all the way up there and just kind of went over and he's fiddling with the rope for a while. This guy's taking a while. Oh God.
I just imagine if you rolled a 1, Mortifer would just held the rope to the rock and said, "Stay here," and let it go.
Or he would have yanked it so hard that it would have pulled the boulder out and it would have flown down to hit and shake.
Hang on, the rope's stuck on something.
Jake, quick question. Is it Uba or Oba?
Uba.
Okay, Uba. Like I'm gonna get an Uba to get to the mall.
Stop. Go
Okay,
away.
there we go. Sponsored by. So so Uba is watching and kind of like, God, this guy's. You appreciate the help, but he's taking fucking forever. Roll me a climb checks there.
He's only taking forever because Scott wants you to roll more climb checks.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a better one at least. I forgot you had a -2.
You're able to kind of like find a footing. It's one of those you take a daring moment because don't forget you have a +5 at the moment. You take a daring risk. You're like, I'm going to die. You can literally see one blade is just barely, because the way you have it angled, just barely started to stick out the rock. And you're like watching it grow out of the rock. And all of a sudden, like as it's getting like close, you see this one starting to stick out to you. Like, I'm gonna die. Fuck it. And you kind of like turn your wrists as best you can, straining them almost like putting a strain on them, or whatever. And you just do the best you can to leapfrog up. It's like, and you just barely are able to like Wolverine climb up just a little bit higher and re-brace yourself. And you're a bit more secure than you were beforehand. And you end up being about 5 feet higher than you were beforehand. So Wade, only 70 feet away from me right now.
I'm going to use the rope to assist me to climb down to him, and I'll just regular climb the rest of the way down.
Okay, so you roll me your climb check. This is the easy one for you. It's a very easy one because it's not a sheer cliff face.
Every time you say that, please, no once. All right, what's a 7?
Well, you're avoiding the 1s, technically.
The rope, you start climbing, and unfortunately, you did not go to do that practice in gym. You start sliding, straight rope burn. As you like come down and you just try to do that climb down, you end up just losing grip and just sliding the whole 50 feet. Oof, this is bad.
What if we're meant to do that?
Roll me a dexterity save, Wade. Reflex save.
Oh, that's my worst one. You shouldn't have fortitude. 10.
Is that Mortimer hitting the ground? How was that?
Yeah, that was loud. I heard that.
All right. So, anyways, so you slide down. You just barely are able to catch yourself. One hand is still hanging on to the rope. The other one kind of like grabbing a bit of rock. Your foot kind of there, just barely hanging on. Like, oh shit! And you're barely hanging on. That's the bad news. If you were literally one lower, you would have fell.
Yeah. I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
The good news is, because Mortimer is naturally 12 and a half feet tall, did not expand, right? Never expanded. He's actually 12 and a half feet tall. Like I said, that he's holding a rope over his head. His foot is now, because he's only 20 feet away, right? At the bottom of the rope. His foot's now like you can't quite reach his pant leg. You know what I mean? We're about to have one of that scene from Friends where they got locked on the roof.
What a classic.
So if he's that close, if I expanded once now, he could grab me, right? And I tied that rope pretty good. Mortimer knows that rope's pretty good.
Mortimer would have rolled, like you said, he would have rolled a 1 and he would have thought he did really good. So he'd be confident no matter what.
I don't know if he'd be smart enough to expand, though. I think he would just let go and climb down to get him. I don't think he'd be smart to be like, if I expand a few feet, he'd be like, can't
Well, what's
reach.
your intelligence?
Is that intelligence or wisdom?
Intelligence, for sure. I would say intelligence. You nat 20'd it. You're fine.
God, does Mortimer think it's worth expanding or climbing down with that roll?
Expanding would immediately make you big enough, assuming you have a good grip.
Assuming that would allow, I think the rope could hold me with that.
Climbing, you'd be able to climb down to get him, but then you have to try to then, while hanging onto the wall, assist him back up.
Okay, so Mortimer will expand, which I think takes what, 1 power point? Is that right?
1 power point, yep.
So Mortimer will expand, and you'll basically see this man holding on with one arm, probably reach up and try to grab with his other arm. But then even though he reached his way up, while he was reaching up, his feet just kept coming down toward you.
Would you say that the rope is still in your possession? Because you're holding on to it?
I say whatever the answer is that benefits me the best.
Because you go double in height, and so do all of your possessions, meaning the rope is now no longer 50 feet long, but 100 feet long.
If that counts as being in my possession?
Meaning earlier you could have double expanded to have a 200-foot rope from the...
I forgot about the... Yeah, because my hammer expands with me too. Yeah, I guess so I expand, and then I just like... Whoa!
It's like elevator down. Oh. As you get much larger,
this is gonna be fun. Mortimer wants to try out a fun thing, so now you can reach the rope very easily.
Yeah, there's a very wide rope, but it's not like your character's small size or anything. That's sitting there right next to you. He's now like way past you, and you're like, okay, you can reach over and grab that rope if you'd like. Make me a climb check, Jake.
See ya.
That's a 5.
You release the blade on one of your hands, you pull it out, and then grab onto the rope, and then you pull yourself out and try to reach over to grab the rope, but your foot slips, and before you get proper hold on it, you
Well, welcome to character creation screen, everyone.
Wade, you can make a reflex saving throw to try to catch him.
Come on, Wade.
Can he assist me with his acrobatics?
I would say yes.
What does that do for me?
Let him roll first.
I don't know if he's good at acrobatics. He tried to use it earlier, so I'm hoping he is.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. He's good at acrobatics.
So as he falls, he's like, oh shit. He literally just tries to like open himself up to you. You know, kind of like gets it, so he's like opened up and like prepared for like an easy catch, like reaching out to grab onto your clothing at the same time that you'd be grabbing onto him. Make your reflex save, sir.
Is it fair to say it would take a lot of strength to stop him from falling past me?
I would say it's fair to say that.
I mean, as he falls, he's gaining momentum, and therefore it's gonna be harder and harder to stop his momentum.
Which
because
is why it's a reflex
force
save.
of him falling.
I think you need to get your hands there in time because you're like, what?
I agree, but also it would take a lot of, even if I touched him, it would take a lot of strength.
You know what?
It's like,
It
it's
would
like
take
playing,
play of
here's the
strength.
thing, wait,
it's like
wait.
playing sports ball with Mike.
Well-
You throw a ball and he goes, what?
Yes, hilarious. You're more arguing for 2 checks. Because you're going to have to make a reflex. And he's like, you know what? You might have to make a strength check to keep him, to grab him.
I know what he's arguing for.
He knows what I'm arguing.
Oh, I know what he's arguing for. Did you get a bonus to that?
Not bad. So actually, it ends up being one of those things. You open yourself up and try to plan for it, and he just kind of reaches out and easily, like a quick side snatch, grabs you and is able to.
Yeah, as I'm falling too, you would see the blades would disappear.
Yeah. So
this guy that was climbing down was a large man, but as he catches you, he looks a whole hell of a lot. You're 5'6".
Yep.
If you were standing next to this guy, you might be like maybe up to his thigh. Probably not. Because this man, you would he's like 20 feet tall right now. 23 feet actually, but
he wouldn't address it yet because he'd just probably like be extremely
surprising to like to have this hand reach out, and it's a lot bigger than a hand you'd expect to see reaching out to try to catch you.
Yeah.
So I will.
How big is your hand?
Big. Here, hold on. Let's Scott, tell me how big my hand is.
I don't know.
Let's see. I'd be like 3 times.
How tall is Mortimer normally?
About 13 feet tall. So now he's 11'9", so he's about 12 feet tall. So now he's almost 24.
What's half 11'9"? Is that almost 6?
Let's say, yeah. So it'd be 4 times your hand size, basically.
I don't have a. Oh, hold on. This paper's 8.5 by 11. It says 8.5. So this is about 8 inches from base of hands to tip of fingers is my hand, right? Which is about the height of Mortimer's medium-sized version. So 8 inches. So 8 times 2 is 16. Times 2 is 34 inches. Is the base of his palm to the tip of his finger. So it's almost 3 feet. Right there.
No, he's got a good grip then.
So half of your body length is his hand right now.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
You
More
can
than half
literally
his body
just grab him like a freaking toy.
Okay, so you got him, Mortimer.
I'm going to let my size go down and let the rope pull me up like Mary Poppins.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Jennifer didn't think about the fact, and Wade didn't think about the fact that the rope would also grow. So whenever that happened, he was pleasantly surprised. He was like, "Mortimer have idea." Drink.
So you pull him back up, and so you guys are now higher than you were beforehand. I believe this was anchored, 75 feet above him. So you're 75 feet from the ledge. What do you do from here?
I would I would hold on to the rope and just have him start climbing up ahead of me, and I would try to follow behind.
You can easily reach up and put him like a solid 5 feet above that, having him only 70 feet up. Up here, it's much more situated in a way that you can actually make an acrobatics check if you want to for your next check.
I definitely would.
I'll stick with climbing.
We all wait.
Am I supposed to roll now?
No. He was just trying to get to it. All right. Oh, beautiful.
No, I pressed it ages ago. Just lag, I think.
No, it's all good. You live in Western Australia. That's pretty far from. Sorry, Eastern Australia. It's pretty
I do
far.
not live in Western Australia, thank you.
What was that?
But I do not live in Western Australia, thank you.
Sorry.
You're not native to Perth?
No.
Yeah, we had a conversation about that on Wednesday, I think. So anyways, it's literally, once he gets up there, you can literally tell that beforehand you saw this guy struggling. Before, my apologies, Mike, before you saw him climbing easily. Then you saw him struggling for a considerable amount, like he literally just almost died.
Yep.
Mortimer barely saved him almost, falling, let's be serious, not dying, himself. And then he grabs him, puts him up there, and then with ease, starts climbing up there, bracing his feet, get into areas, nooks and crannies, easily climbs up to the ledge where you are and climbs up over. Before we have Jack make a witty statement, because I'm sure he witnessed everything,
I'm sure he
could Mortifer be like, oh, ooh. Mortifer, could you roll me your climb check?
I'm going to retrieve my rope, and then I will climb.
Okay, then while he's retrieving his rope, Jack, you see him climb over the edge. Do you say anything to him?
Honestly, like, I just probably back up, and when he finally gets over the edge, it's just a very slow clap. Now I need to make sure Mortifer comes up over the edge.
He just smiles at you.
Brave of you after watching someone acrobatically climb up, and you're going to be sarcastic without your muscle.
Oh no! Half the time he was guaranteed Jack was watching, and most of the time he was thinking, "God, please don't fall, Mortifer. I don't want to have to come get you." More like, not even I don't want to have to. I don't even know if I can come get you.
Well, we'll see. I got to roll a climb check now.
Hold on, Jake. What were you saying while you still clapped?
Oh, I would have just smiled at him. Like it looks like a genuine smile, not like he's like being sarcastic or anything. And then he just like kind of look over the edge, back down towards Mortifer.
Okay. Good
Mortifer.
Hey, 15. That's not bad.
I thought you were gonna be like, you know what? I spent a mythic point and get a plus 20 to this roll.
Not yet. I can always surge after.
No. I meant a plus 20.
Is this a strength-based?
Yeah.
Climb strength?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was dexterity for some reason. That's acrobatics. It's dexterity, right?
Did you want to do that, or no?
No, no.
So you just start picking your way and climbing your way back up. You know, you get in a good distance up there. I just need one more check from you to seal the deal. 1.
That was almost.
It's always on the screen. That one is always on that side of the dice.
You finish climbing the rest of the way up. Excuse me. You finish climbing the rest of the way up, and you are finally back up on the ledge.
So I also slow clap Mortifer.
He would be like happy.
I know.
It's like Mortifer appreciates applause. It's been too long.
I'm just glad you didn't fall, buddy.
Mortifer wouldn't have fell.
I would also applaud you at that.
Oh, there you go. You got a second applause. Yeah, you got 2 people applauding you at the same time. It's been a while.
Not the same as the arena, but Mortifer will take it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you still dream about those days, to be honest with you.
Mortifer's freedom was almost in hand.
Anyway, hey, and I kind of like refocused to didn't ask for your name. Wasn't sure it was going to be needed.
Ubu.
Good to meet you, Ubu. Jack, Mortifer.
Ubu or Uba? Not to correct you.
Uba.
Oh yeah, I was reading something else. Yeah, Uba. Just that was
Ubu, Uba. Either way. Yeah, he just goes, Jack,
Ubu,
Ubu.
Jack, Mortifer. Not sure.
Thank you. Thanks for your assistance. And then he like looks towards you and kind of like pats your leg. And he's like, "Thanks, big guy."
Mortifer is happy to do something that doesn't involve scorpions or just walking.
You see him. He has like kind of like a long coat on, and he kind of opens it up, and you see he's got some pretty nice looking armor, but also the coat has heaps of pockets. And you see him just like look around, and he picks out 2 power stones, and he hands one to you and one to Jack, and he's like, "Token of thanks."
Will you go to reach, and while Jack looks grateful, he just kind of holds his hands up. Just give it to him.
Yeah. So he gives you. Do I tell you what they are?
If you want to. Mortifer wouldn't ask, so if you told him, he would. But he doesn't even know if Jack's giving it to him. He was just like, Jack wants Mortifer to carry it. Fair enough.
So one's a power stone of force screen, and the other is grip of iron.
That would have been useful right now.
So we were here. Sorry, Scott.
I have force screen already on here, so you can just tell me what grip of iron does.
You can just Google it, Wade. Google literally Pathfinder Grip of Iron.
I'm
Go
so
ahead,
busy
Mike.
right
Refresh
now.
my memory. We were here to investigate this thing, right?
Correct.
And just figure out what caused it. Is that what they wanted to know, or if it was just there?
That it was there, the source of it, any dangers, so on and so forth, to investigate it. To more or less go down there and check it out.
Okay. He would just ask him then. So, you know what the hell happened here?
No, I was, like I said before, I was just asleep. And then there was like a really loud noise and just like the sound of cracking. And then all of a sudden I was buried under rubble.
You know how far it goes, and kind of like looking both ways.
He just kind of looks like, and it's like, I haven't really ventured too far, trying to see if I've been spending my time seeing if there's anyone else.
Well, you're the closest thing we've got to a lead, at least. Kind of just nonchalantly gestures at the chasm. We were sent out here to see if the rumors were true and see if we could figure out what caused it and whatnot.
Looking out, Scott, you said the trees look like they're dying here.
Dying because the trees were all standing and upright, but then because the chasm was breaking everything, they like broke at the base and fell over. So like there's no nutrients getting to the tree anymore. It's just a broken stump. It's a
Wood's
big
kind of
tree
rare,
trunk.
isn't it? Like trees and forests and all that.
Absolutely, but yeah, yes.
I just don't know this. I'm assuming we don't know this part of the world very well to know whether is a forest out here.
The area I'm from is close by. I'm trying to, is the city I'm from, I forget the name of the city, is that one kind of near a forest or forested at all, or would this all be kind of new to Mortifer too, to see actual trees?
So Tyr, the city that you're originally from as a child, is not near here. You're still many, many, many miles away. However, Tyr is actually inside kind of like a little alcove within the mountain range, and it happens to be the thickest portion of the mountain. Should you cross the mountains behind Tyr, directly on the other side is a huge forest, like a giant forest.
That's where the halflings are from.
Yeah, but you're very far north and a bit to the east of there.
But at some point, Mortifer would have probably come across a forest or something at one point, or is this his first time seeing trees of any kind?
No, because you're also from an area called this like a bit verdant. You know, it's kind of like plains. Like Tyr itself also has like grass grows on the ground and whatnot over there. You know, it actually has.
Yeah, the whole world isn't
life.
dead yet. It's just gasping, basically.
It's just my only experience, Mortifer's only experience in Tyr was being a slave in Rame, and then our trek across the desert.
Even Uric itself had grass that grew around Uric. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
A bit of grass. But you're outside of there, went through the dunes and then onto dark badlands. But there's not. When I say grass, I mean like there's shrubberies and some grass, but it's like not.
Yeah. I just know this is the
don't confuse that with plains.
I would have ever seen. That's all I was wondering.
No. Well, yeah. This would be the closest to a forest you've ever seen, yes, because you've probably never crossed those mountains.
Yeah. Okay. So I imagine Mortifer's just kind of staring out and taking in the sights because this is all new to him.
Jack will continue talking then. So you trying to get out looking for help, or are you just trying to get the hell out?
I've just been trying to get out. This was my home, but
Did you have
I
a
must have
village
a
or
home now.
something?
Yeah, we had a village amongst the trees.
Name of that village? I'm curious. Is she dreaming,
know.
Scott?
Yeah, Brady's sleeping.
Yeah, I can hear her.
I could not figure what that noise was. It makes a
yeah.
lot more sense now that I know it's a dog. It's like, what is that?
She's doing a face twitch thing though.
What was the name of the village? I'm sorry.
The village's name was Zim.
Does that ring a bell? I assume it wouldn't.
Zim, no. Zimzalim.
We knew an invader from there.
Yeah, true.
Oh, fuck.
I was gonna ask if there's an easier way down, but I figured if there was, you probably would have taken it the way up, so it might be a pointless question.
Mortifer can get down.
There's nothing really left down there. You're more than welcome to climb back down if you want. But I think I pretty much got everything that I could from there.
So the issue that Jack right now is having, Scott, is that to figure out what caused this thing would require us just going down there and just wandering for miles aimlessly until we find something. Because we have no lead. We have no. It's just, is it here? Yes. What caused it? Good luck.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, you are correct.
Okay.
With the ones, as opposed to knowing exactly where you need to go down there, should you choose to go that path, you know where he's been, so maybe you don't have to go where he was. But you also know that, well,
Well, how big is this chasm? Like, how long is this thing?
its width is about a mile wide at its widest,
Okay.
maybe a mile and a half. You're obviously at the area where it conjoins, so it's pretty close, and that kind of like separates as it goes. How long is it? You don't know. You can't see the other side.
I think that's what we need to figure out. I think we need to walk this thing until we know where it ends, so we know what kind of mileage we're gonna have to deal with, and if it's even worth us going down there.
Can we roll perception or something to try to find an easier way down than what we?
I imagine that may be
Okay.
something we can roll as we walk, because we're going to be
Yeah.
walking this thing, and we don't know how long it goes. So Jack just shrugs. I'm glad we at least got to do some good out here. But we got to figure out what the hell caused this thing. So me and Mortifer are going to walk this thing, see how long it is, see how big it is, and from there make a decision if it's worth our time heading down there and trying to figure out what caused it, or if we should just go on and move on with our day. You know this place. You're welcome to join. Can't promise you're going to get paid for your work, but wouldn't be a bad token of thanks for us saving your life.
Yeah, sure, I can do that. I mean, I haven't spent any time with anyone in the last month, so
Mortifer makes excellent company.
good for some company.
And with that, why don't we take a break?
Sweet. All right, we'll be back in about 5 minutes, everybody. Go grab a drink, grab a snack, whatever you got to do. And we will be right back.
I need both.
Hello, we're back.
All right.
We're marching through the deserts of time.
Sorry, before I got to go and get myself coffee, I had to go and help the wife because she needs to watch the Patriots in the preseason. We don't have cable set up at the moment. We got to get it set up really soon. But so she had to have help getting, because she's a Patriots fan because my house is full of winners.
So we're walking through the desert, and what's the song from Spaceballs? The little Jawa. It's like ding 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 ding, right? And that the Spaceballs tune that they're. That's what we're gonna do.
It's been a long time since I've seen Spaceballs.
Ding 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 ding.
See now, I suppose if you were a real NFL fan, you could trust a highlighter to be your quarterback, but then you never win any sports ball games.
What does this have to do with Spaceballs or the desert?
I was continuing my conversation.
Yeah, no one cared about your conversation.
More importantly, does Jake give a shit about American football?
I do not follow American football.
Exactly. Like, who cares?
You can be a Bengals fan because then you'll feel exactly the same. Nothing in your life will change.
Jake, do you know what a Bengal is?
A tiger. It's a tiger.
Yeah, exactly. It's an extinct species because they suck.
Wow. Okay. Scott's of the opinion that animals deserve to die.
I'm just teasing.
That's his true opinion. Clip that. Spread it around. Spread the news. Real news.
So, you guys are making your way around the area. Obviously, it's not like you can fall in or anything like that. However, you're not the only ones around here. Roll me a perception check, but I also want a survival. Now that Jake's in here, Jake, what is your survival compared to his, just so we can kind of compare it, see who's the better one? And perception check from everybody.
Boom.
Yeah, my survival's only a 2.
Okay.
My survival's a 9.
Watch him do terrible on perception.
But you critted.
I just
yeah,
rolled a natural.
I thought for some reason I thought your perception was higher than mine.
Oh, wow.
Christ.
Those are 3 great perception checks.
You guys are ridiculous.
We see all.
All right, so cool. And so I'm going to give a lot of information because everybody had their own successes along the way. And Wayne, can you just roll me a survival check, please?
I keep thinking there's some kind of like bonus you get to like advantage or something, but that's not this edition.
Jesus, man. 2 27s, a 28, and a 26. Whew. All right. So you guys with your survival check, first of all, just making your way around the chasm, just trying to find. It's not like it's particularly difficult. It's just more or less finding loose footing that might be there, or areas where it's like safe to stop, and just making sure that you're not going to end up putting yourself into harm's way without by an accident or just natural occurrences that'll be around here. Again, it recently split open about a month ago. Who knows how stable or unstable the ground is? And there are areas where the ground is unstable. However, consistently Mortimer can notice it and point it out and whatnot as you guys go, or at the very least notices it quick enough, usually well in advance, but sometimes just quick enough to kind of reach over and like grab Jack, like, no, Jack, this spot, like
Quicksand?
Not quicksand, but like loose rock that you.
Oh, okay.
Because you guys usually aren't walking on the cliff's edge.
I still want to know. We got to get to the bottom of a quicksand pit.
That's why I thought you said quicksand. I was like, oh, I'll just go to huge size or gargantuan size with the rope.
Every time you go beneath the
And
sand,
the quicksand, and we'll see what happens.
every time you go, like, just your head goes below the quicksand, just enlarge once, and then that way we can measure how deep it is by how many times you have to enlarge.
This is 3 mortivers deep.
Exactly.
What if I came out on the other side? What if I just shot out the other side? I'd be in like Athens, China, right? You dig a hole of China. I dig a hole at Athens, China.
How do you know this isn't Athens, China?
I dig a hole to Athens, USA.
All right, moving on. So you guys, no problems, no natural occurrences that you have to deal with. With your perception checks, I'll deal with Uba's first. So Uba, when you're walking around looking, you notice that, and this is probably something that I don't know how much it affects your character, but you do see that there are birds of prey, more like carrion, that are starting to swarm in the area and circle about. I mean, beforehand you'd seen a couple, but as the thing is aging more and more, just unfortunately, more and more of these carrion are arriving. So you do see the occasional, like, very large birds, wingspans probably Mortifer's height, that go about, birds that would be dangers for each of you. But you honestly feel safe despite seeing these things because They've got easy food down there. But then you also see the much smaller types of avian that are flying about as well, that are kind of like moving in swarms, almost like you would imagine like a murder of crows. You know, the way that they kind of are up in the air and moving around in these strange patterns.
Don't you fucking dare. Continue.
But they don't seem, once again, to be interested in you. They kind of like are reacting to maybe it's the winds, the heat, so on and so forth. It is important to note when I say avian, I don't mean like tweet, you know, little birds. I mean like these are like raptor-esque creatures that can withstand the heat of the sun and so on. So you are making your way around the chasm. It's like you're measuring, you know, the entire thing one step at a time as you go. But a rough guess, this thing is somewhere between 7 and 8 miles long. And then and at its widest, maybe about a mile and a half wide at its widest. So it tapers in, a hard taper, but that lasts, say, like half mile, and then a gentle taper outwards and inwards as you get past that half mile on the tips.
I like gentle taper. Gentle taper. That made me happy. I don't know. That's those two words together.
Does any place seem to be like a clear epicenter to any of this?
So one of the things that you do notice is that over in the area where you first started, there was forest down there. As you guys move further and further away, maybe about a third to a half the way in, there is no forest down there. There is kind of just a rocky, barren, looks at like the bottom of a chasm. There's no river, stream, or anything.
Is the chasm shaped like an eye? Like an eye, quote unquote, not an eye?
More like Tennessee.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But it comes to like a tip, like how like a football or something would kind of.
Yeah, because like that's cool. Because if it comes to a tip, that indicates that something happened in the middle for it to kind of radiate outward like that. If it was just like a solid, unrecognizable shape, it could be anything. Something could have fucking who knows.
Correct.
All
so
right.
let me get to the other perception checks.
Sure.
That was Ubu's perception check. Mortifer, the perception check that you make, what you happen to notice, of course you pointed out, everybody notices. You notice that over in the barren area, there is movement down there. But the movement of the creatures that you see are not small by any stretch of the imagination. These are large, lizard-like creatures. You've never seen anything like it beforehand. But
Extra?
I said large, not sad and small. Lizard-like creatures. As a matter of fact, you're pretty sure they are large enough. It's a big distance, you know, all the way down, because not the ledge that we were talking about beforehand, but the drop down is about half a mile drop down. That's a huge drop. It's like a very big drop. Or if you were to just like run to the, like you do a big enough jump off of the ledge that you can clear to the middle. You know what I mean? That's a huge drop. But luckily it kind of slopes down and you can, anyways. You're pretty sure the creature that you see way off in the distance is even large enough that it could swallow Mortifer. If not whole, then in 2 bites.
So it's like gargantuan Mortifer sized.
It is a very large lizard-like creature that you can see moving down there. You pointed out the other seat as well. Nobody knows what it is. And then finally, Jack, what you notice is, just because you got the natty 20, what you notice is, as you're walking by and you do hit that middle area, the epicenter kind of area that you're kind of looking for, I imagine as everybody continues walking, you would stop and you're like, no, it's definitely getting smaller. This has to be the center. And so kind of like looking down there and focusing more, you start to feel almost like a chiming within you, almost like a pull within you.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. I imagine we're all looking at this barren spot for one reason or another. And I kind of just throw my hand out, lazily pointing towards the barren area. That's where it's from. And I think I know what caused it.
The giant lizard.
No. Mortifer, do you remember... Do you remember our little halfling friend?
Oh, yes. Puddle.
Yeah. I was going to hopefully stop you from saying that, but... Yeah.
Pudge. Yeah. Pudge was his... sorry, Pudge.
Right. I think that is what caused this.
Mortimer, you say his name, and all of a sudden you can taste him again.
He would look towards you, Jack, and say, "You know what caused this to appear?"
I couldn't tell you specifics.
Einer.
I guess we could. I couldn't tell you specifics that. I couldn't tell you specifics that would make sense now. God damn it, Mortimer! You're gonna have to get you. Listen, well, it's hard to explain. There's not really an equation or anything that. Do you believe in the divine in any way?
No.
Stick around long enough and you might. It's the best
Do
I
we
can
believe
do.
in the divine, Jack?
Come on, Mortimer. Let's get going.
To the lizard?
That way, yeah.
Like a little more pep in his step. Mortimer's like eagerly.
And I
Ready
look
for
back to Uba and like reassure. Like, if it was something I could easily describe, I promise you I would. But
How? Here's a question for you, Scott. How long about was this journey? Because for Uba, I imagine he'd be getting a little bit tired probably after trying to climb up a mountain and trekking 8 miles in this desert.
I mean, yeah, but he can handle that.
I mean,
I was just curious.
I'm
if it
imagining.
looked like he was getting tired, whereas
Because at this point right here, you've walked 4 miles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're at the halfway point.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, he still had to climb up a mountain.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure his muscles are aching.
Yeah, you can definitely tell like he's breathing kind of heavy and probably sweating profusely.
Meta here was
actually
more to see if he noticed that we showed no signs of fatigue or anything, whereas he might be getting tired at this point. Was what I was asking.
I just want to check something. If he's sweating, if like he looks hot and sweaty, I will pop into my ruffle in my bag and pull out a couple of vials. You see me hold them up to the sun, looking at the different shades, the viscosity of them before I kind of pick one and I just hand it to you, Uba. When we take a moment to let you take a break, just down that, it'll help relax.
He looks at it, takes it from you, just thanks you, and straight away just pops it.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a potion of cooling canopy, so I guess we're chilling now. So what it does is like you pop it and it probably tastes like nothing, if anything, maybe just like water, like almost just waterish. And I'll throw it into the chat. It's a 30-foot radius. Blue clouds gather. It casts shade. It's like a nice cooling mist. It's genuinely just there to help prevent dehydration and cool people down in a nice relaxing situation. Clouds just kind of appear over you weirdly in a nice shade for 30 feet.
That's funny. You would pop it, and you go to drink it, and it's like as you pour it into your mouth, you're like it like stops in like a cloud form between the mouth and the vial.
It probably draws moisture off of his lips, like that's the last thing it needs. So it draws moisture from your mouth and lips, and it creates a cloud.
Rises up, and now it spits on everybody constantly.
You're like,
Saliva.
Hey, we're Dark Sun, dude. You get what you can take.
Yeah. Did you brush your teeth before you did this? Because it's going to smell like your breath.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Mortimer chooses not to breathe.
This is where he shows the T-shirt he's wearing is IE ass.
Fair.
Sorry.
So there you go. It just kind of hangs out. It's a place to chill. So I guess we're relaxing now because this thing is anchored. It don't move. And I only had one.
It lasts for 12 hours?
12 hours.
Well, that gives time for you guys to actually take a nice long rest if you want to. Let him actually legitimately rest if you choose to, of course, Uber. But also kind of analyze the situation too.
Yeah, I think Jack would end up probably spending a lot of it at the edge, watching, just kind of observing, seeing if there's anything down there worth noting, people that might be moving down there, others on the job, or anything really.
Okay. So you do that. You would look about, so on and so forth. And do me a favor, Jack. Roll me I suppose, Wade, you can roll me a survival check. And Jack, you can roll me, what do you have? I think your best thing is just going to be a flat intelligence check.
Sure.
Just looking. Yeah.
You want me to roll it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, that's almost a 15.
Yeah. So, anyways, so Wade, looking about, you can look down the cliff face and you see from where you are now, unless you want to travel a good distance to either direction to find an area that's easy to climb down, this spot is not easy at all. As I was saying beforehand, it's pretty rocky and it has spots to climb up and down over by the edge. But then as you come further and further up, because more and more of a sheer cliff face, you're directly in the middle. It is like pretty much a perfect drop with almost no handholds. Looking down and trying to measure it out, I mean, you're not good at math or anything like that, but kind of like chicken with Jack, and does this look like whatever? You discern this looks like it's probably just shy of a 400-foot drop from where you are down to the next ledge, and then from there it'd be another probably good 300-foot drop to the next ledge, and from there you guys could actually start hiking, like mountainside hiking down to get to where you need to go.
Okay, so basically we're at the worst spot possible to try to get down right now.
Because it's the center, exactly. Other spots are difficult too, and there's different degrees of difficult, but the middle will always be the worst.
Right. Okay.
So, anything else that you'd want to do with your time?
Did
You two?
intelligence check get him anything?
No, it just kind of finishes your math for you.
No. Does Uba sleep?
Yeah, he does. He'd lay down and try and get to sleep.
I wouldn't do anything while he slept, but just because I don't know Uba, I wouldn't allow him to remember me. So I think just when he wakes up, there's like a
Like a will save.
Yeah, it's a will of what? I gotta
It's
look at it real
bloop
quick.
in chat.
Yeah, let me go get
Before you roll, sir. Don't roll yet.
it. Where is it? No one of consequence, I think.
This is the moment.
DC 10
Jake.
plus what your tier plus charisma mod,
So is it DC 10 plus your tier, which is 4, plus charisma mod, which is
a 4, so 18.
DC 18 will save, sir. Can you do it?
Well, he's a psionic, so he actually very well may.
Nope.
Oh, that was actually wow. You have a +7. Jesus Christ.
I was like, does he have anything that can modify that even? I actually want to double check a skill because I think you have that skill. So before I say anything else, Jake, yeah, you do have ranks in that. So give me one moment. I don't think this works, but I just want to be sure. Oh. Clickety clack. No, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. I know you can expend. So it's not this, then the other thing, which is sorry, give me 1 second. Boop, boop, boop. You guys can chat amongst yourself. You can RP between your characters if you want.
Yeah. So it's not a complete forgettal either. It's just like you don't might remember my name. I look familiar, kind of. Did we talk? I don't know. Were you there when I got rescued? I don't know. The big guy was, but was he? That kind of thing. But I don't really I'm actually like not standoffish, but I'm not very conversationalist with you right out the gate. I don't know how Mortifer is.
He's normal Mortifer. If he's talked to, he'll say something, but typically he's just kind of like impatiently waiting to go fight a giant lizard.
Yeah, so he would have just laid down, like, had a sleep or whatever, and then when he got up, he would have just... So, where are you guys from? Where you looking at Mortifer, but then looking over to Jack, and there's just a funny look on his face, but he doesn't say anything, and he just turns back to Mortifer.
Mortifer is from Tyr, but no, well, Mortifer is from Rame. Where is Mortifer? Mortifer is from Rame and Tyr. But Mortifer came from Rame.
Jack just kind of chimes in off the back, like, you can be from both, buddy.
Mortifer is from both.
And I'll just say, and Rame as well. It's where I met the big guy. What was on his way to becoming the arena champion. I don't know if you've ever been... do arenas out here? And I looked to, like, the forest down there.
You see him, he kind of like opens up his shirt and he's like, I haven't seen them personally, but my father was a fought in them, and he's like got this really nice gladiator armor.
I kind of smile and just say, "You and Mortifer have more in common than I anticipated."
Mortifer is sorry if he killed your father.
Don't think it was the
I don't
same
think
arena.
he's a big guy. He looks back down the chasm. He's like he's down there.
Oh. He's thinking for a minute because, like, you said everyone was dead, and then you're like, but Dad's down there, and he's like, he's like probably dead, but he might even mumble that to himself. Him going, probably dead.
Oh god!
But he doesn't realize he said it out loud.
And if he did, he thought I was whispering the whole time.
Yeah.
He just goes. He looks down and says, "Definitely dead."
Mm. Mortifer respects people who fight in the arena with honor. Not many creatures or people outside of the arena fight that way. But Mortifer kills them. He like shrugs.
I just nod.
What about you? What'd you do? What was your life like?
It's pretty simple actually. We didn't do too much. I didn't venture much out for the forest here. Never really had a need to. We
Kind of
trained together here. We just trained together. Caught what food we needed. Yeah, not really much else to say.
Fair enough. It's a literal hell out here, so I don't think I'd leave the forest either.
Mortifer had never seen a forest. Trees, some plants, but never a forest. Is it always so not good looking?
No, it's a shame you couldn't see it before it was turned into this chasm.
Were there always giant lizards to fight?
Scott, were there?
You probably have never seen those yourself before, so who knows? But then again, you lived in the forest. They're outside of the forest.
Then he'd just say, no, I actually haven't seen any giant lizards before.
He gets even more excited at that.
Mortifer, just remember the last time you charged in that battle head on.
Those scorpions fought cheap.
Have you
No, I
never
had some trouble with some scorpions, did you?
They had nasty stingers that pierced Mortifer's skin and made him feel very weak.
Like
Things should not make Mortifer feel weak. It is a dishonorable way to fight.
almost kind of like they were a scorpion.
Yes. He'll like, as he agrees with you, he realizes that you're being you, and he's like, damn, I fell for it again.
Jack will actually chuckle and loosen up a bit. Well, we're going down there one way or another. We have to. Don't know what the hell those giant lizard things are, but whatever is down there, I'm almost certain is the cause. You make
We should
it
not climb down here.
No, that's a smart idea. However, if you're gonna help us, it's only right.
He like beams. You said smart idea for him. He's like,
We're getting paid a hefty sum to take care of this job, and I don't know if you plan on coming back here, but life out here operates on a ceramic currency. Not sure if that's something that was for you in the village life, but you can't get anywhere without a little cash in your pocket. So I'm happy to give you 500 of our reward to put in your pocket if we come out of this thing alive.
He nods and, sure, I'll come along. Got nothing else to do. Nowhere to be.
There's a place that gives great free haircuts I could tell you about, actually, if you were interested.
Mortifer will not go back there.
Just because you didn't like it, Mortifer, doesn't mean he wouldn't.
He like runs
What
his
haircuts?
hair.
He like puts his hand on his like bald head and he's like,
I actually,
not much hair to cut.
he actually kind of like taps at his chin. I don't know how they'd handle a bald person.
He turns, he's like, I'm not fully bald, and you see this really long braid that he kind of has in his hand. He just like whips it around, throws it back behind him.
What do you think, Mortifer? Do you think they'd make him cut it? Or do you think they'd just cut it to length?
They'd make him grow hair on the rest.
Right. Do you think they cut the ponytail in the meantime?
If he likes it, they would make him take it away.
Is that what they did to you, Bell?
I would never cut this braid.
Mortifer said that too.
Why did you cut your hair?
Jack said we had to stay in the town and not have to fight all of the police.
Put it more simply, not.
Why didn't you just not go in the town?
We
To
had
like look at Jack.
we had business there that we had to take care of. As Mortifer has said, we are honorable people, and we had our end of a bargain to uphold. And it is against the law, weirdly enough, to not have a bowl cut haircut while in that city. You get 1 day, right? 1 day, Scott. You get one day to get everything in order, and if you can't get it taken care of by the next day, you get thrown in prison.
He kind of just at the mention of like bowl cut and kind of getting what you mean. He just looks kind of like sickened, and he just like twirls his hair, and he's like, I'm not gonna go there.
I'll make sure.
Mortifer does not want to go back either.
I don't think we actually have to. Next city is Tyr that we're heading for.
Do we have to go back for the reward?
Technically, yes.
I could go in and go get I mean, I could, but he won't remember me.
If you told Mortifer to go back in, he would, but he's just happy to have someone else chiming along on his side for once.
All right, so we'll rest then, and then when it's done, we got to find a way down.
Okay, so what is the plan for finding a way down? What's the tactic that we're going for here? Because
Walk to one of the edges, I guess, toward one of the points where maybe it's a little bit...
Well, yeah, we're going to have to go down at one of the points and then walk 4 miles in.
okay, is that the because like walking in, you guys could see just even from up here looking down. Walking along this edge is easy, flat ground, a little bit of sand, it's not the end of the world, so on and so forth. Dropping in, a bit dangerous, but you're where you want to be. You go back the other way, nice easy walk there. You climb down, relatively easy. Well, not as difficult way down, but then the traverse across the bottom is very, very difficult. A whole forest that's been completely knocked over, tree stacked over tree, trying to pick your way through that, or through the barren area where there's rocks growing from all different areas, like forming in all different areas and whatnot, with those large beastie creatures that you had kind of caught a glimpse of beforehand. Certainly it'd be easier to get down, and that is certainly a problem, but it does come with its own cost no matter which direction you choose out of the three.
How long would the rope be if I got to gargantuan size?
First you double in size, so 100, then you double in size, so 200 feet, yeah.
And how far down do we have to go at the shallowest?
Well, here, if you stayed exactly where you are,
Yeah.
400 feet, then 300 feet, and then you can walk. Or 700 in one big run off the edge and jump.
I really would love to do that.
Do you have an ability that allows you to get down there? Do you have like
No.
slow fall or something?
No, I don't have slow fall.
That would hurt a lot, but I could do it.
What's the damage you take per feet fallen?
I'm trying to look. Let me
If I fell 300 feet, how many d6 damage would I take, Scott?
300 feet, let's see, it's 1d6 per 100. It caps out at 20d6.
Even how much does catfall reduce that?
50 feet per PowerPoint.
Okay, that could kill me. So
So for you,
take
wait
us-
eight PowerPoints, and then boom, 400 feet's absorbed.
damn. How many power points do you have?
24.
You could do it twice, and we could do a long rest, or we could hike and then do a long rest right before we get where we need to.
If there's an area where we think we could do that, because that's blowing a big part of the load on the way down.
Don't forget you did a long rest just now. So, and he doesn't need a long
That's
rest.
why I
He needs a
said.
short-
That's why I said walk.
He needs a short rest. Yeah,
And a mythic
short rest and a mythic point, and he's good.
Oh, that's right. Oh, can you enlarge, carry us, and do that? With
Yeah, I
us
was
with
thinking I
you?
could go to gargantuan size, hold you guys.
Just leap,
Yeah.
drop 16 power points, and you're good.
Do I need to be? Can I carry them both at large or at huge?
Huge size, you can carry both of them, absolutely.
Okay.
This is gonna be
So
fun.
I'll use another PowerPoint. I'll go down to 23. Which?
So this
Does
is
Mortar-
after,
wait, does Mortar-
for a second. You guys just took a long rest, including Jack took
Yeah.
a long rest, unless you chose not to. So Jack, you do have all your mythic points and everything. Back.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh,
even
okay. So I got my 1 PowerPoint back then. Okay.
Everything's back to top. Yep.
Cool. So I will use a PowerPoint to go to huge size.
Okay.
Does Mortifer even say anything? Or do we come up with this as a group, or does Mortifer just be like, I can handle it, and just
Mortifer would offer the fact that he can like. Mortifer.
Because you've
could
never
jump-
seen them.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm worried about. So
Wait,
go ahead.
okay.
Mortifer could jump down and enlarge, and Mortifer could hold the rope, jump down, and Mortifer will just take you with Mortifer.
Jack blinks slowly a couple times. What do you mean?
He puts on his biggest Aladdin smile. Do you trust me?
Oh god.
This is Mortifer saying, do you trust me?
Don't worry, Jack. Mortifer can get us down.
I have to worry. It's what keeps us alive.
Mortifer can absorb the fall.
What do you mean?
You've seen
mean,
Mortifer take
Mortifer
huge
falls.
hits from giant creatures
Yeah,
made out
no.
of stone and go, that didn't hurt yet.
When Mortifer falls, he can fall. Catfall makes me fall slower, right?
Nope, full speed, but absorb the kinetic energy.
What? Mortifer doesn't know how to describe it, but Mortifer falls good.
Buddy, I've known you for a long time, right? We've been
He'll
together for
already
what?
be enlarging to huge
No,
size.
yeah, but it's like, Mortifer, we've known each other a long time. You know that, right? You know I love you, and I try to trust you. But I've never seen you fall that distance without hurting yourself once. Not one time.
You've never seen Mortifer fall that distance.
So how do you know if you can do it?
Mortifer can do anything. But
That is
Mortifer
not
can-
logic.
Mortifer can do-
Listen, if that was logic that you could abide by, why did you almost go down to a couple scorpions a few days ago? Not to
The
rub salt
ground
in
is
the
more
wounds.
honorable than scorpions.
The ground isn't fighting you, Mortifer.
No, exactly. That's what Mortifer's saying. The ground doesn't fight Mortifer when Mortifer falls.
That's not how That's not how. Do you know how falling works?
Yes, people fall, they roll, get hurt. Mortifer falls, and nothing.
No, you have to do something. You have to roll. You have to move when you land.
Just like Mortifer can get big, Mortifer can also fall good.
How do you know that, though?
Mortifer has to think to fall good.
I look over at Uba. All right, I trust him.
I love it because, sorry, one second, Jake. I love it because Jack is still fucking paranoid because in season 1, he fell hard. It was like a 30, 40 foot drop and he almost died.
Yeah.
He was like on the ground, almost dead. Like, and then he got almost eaten.
I had to like on the ground with an invisibility potion to hide myself because I couldn't
So-
move.
8 power points means I can fall 400 feet, and it doesn't do anything, right?
Correct. Do you say anything, Jake, when he says, all right, I trust him?
He just kind of looks and he's like, okay.
You'll go well with us. Just go with it. It'll work.
He'll like help you guys up onto his shoulders. Mortifer
Yeah.
would recommend you hold on tight. And he would look down. So 400 feet down, there's a safe landing spot, you said?
Yes, exactly.
All right.
So Mortifer, you all of a sudden you see Mortifer get like big size. The two arguing while one of them's now is like before. Like you were kind of in a moment. Now you actually literally watch him grow large in size, like huge in size. And then you're gonna reach out. You're gonna grab each one of them in a hand, or how you holding them?
It's kind of like I put down an arm, like palm down, and I allow them to step on my hand and kind of climb up my arm. And I like lift my arm to kind of assist them each up on there. So it's like kind of one's hanging on to each side of my shoulder.
Use the bar of the mall or whatever it's called to as like a seatbelt for like a roller coaster.
There you go.
Hold on to this. And so then you do what, sir?
I will use my 8 power points to catfall.
I want you guys to roll me a will save. Go ahead, Wade.
What? Already? For what?
And then I will look down. I don't need like a running start or anything. I can just jump down. I think it'd be fine.
Yep. Unless you want to do the whole 700.
He'll look down. He'll look at each one of you and kind of like smile a toothy grin as he's excited because he's never jumped this far before.
Oh,
And
God.
then
Here we go.
we jump.
And then you guys expect, as he's doing this, you're both nervous. You held it together. You didn't like freak out, no shake in fear or anything like that. You held it together, but you're definitely queasy in the stomach. You definitely have like the heart pounding in the chest and so forth. Both of you are legitimately very nervous. But then he jumps, and Mortimer's jump is so powerful. He's so strong. He rises, and it starts because like he crouches before he jumps. So as he jumps, the rise of the lift to the jump and the actual taking to the air, you think, oh my God, he can fly. He can fly. He can fly. You know what I mean? Like it's this moment really, because it's such a lift. And then you fall. He can slow it down? No. 400-foot free fall. Does not slow down, nothing whatsoever. The ground is coming way too fast. It comes in what, a second, 1.2 seconds, whatever it takes for math to get there. And all of a sudden, how do you hit the ground, Mortimer?
I like to think he's still like, so they're hanging on. He's probably like helping hold on to them, and he's like enjoying it on the way down. He's like, I think this will be fine, but I've never tried it. And so he's just excited about the experience. So he's holding on. And then whenever he lands, it's kind of like he still allows, you still expect some resistance. So whenever he lands, he still goes like into a crouch, but he doesn't like roll. He doesn't fall forward. He just hits the ground. And then he'll probably just like quickly stand up and be like, see, that wasn't so bad. And he'll like go to set you two down. I don't know what shape.
As like our brains are oozing out of our ears from being liquefied from stopping so short.
No, because you were with him, the power extended to you on him. Yeah. So you felt no G-force other than what it would feel like if you jumped down like 2 or 3 steps off of a like if you're sitting on a stairwell. You jumped off 2 or 3 steps. Oof, that's how much force you felt sitting on his shoulders. However, the kinetic energy is dispersed beneath him and explodes outwards, kind of like a Saiyan charging up, and you can see like almost like the ground beneath his feet divots in by about 2 inches. Nothing crazy considering his mass, but by about 2 inches, and then domes outwards a good like 8-foot wide diameter, as like around like the center point, 8-foot wide diameter sphere of just like, and all of the dirt and ground and everything that was kicked up from that kind of like billows outwards like a plume of smoke.
See, Mortimer told you the ground fights valiantly, but loses to Mortimer.
Well, when you like, they can probably just from the sight of seeing all this rush up at me, just like a little few seconds of shock. So it's just probably a couple of moments of silence, and then a very gentle like pat on your shoulder, just like, when you told me you had to think really hard to make it happen, I believed you. Don't worry.
Puppy cam.
Up. 11 o'clock is puppy hour.
My puppy left me.
Oh, aw, pup. Cute puppy.
Hi, dog.
This is Presley.
Yeah,
He can't do the stairs. He's not supposed to, but he sneaks and does it anyway.
the most action Wade's gotten in a long time.
My wife literally just brought me pizza, man.
That is the same thing. 100%. Is Thursday pizza day for you?
House. Pizza is sacred in this house.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Is Thursday pizza day for you guys?
I think every day is pizza day.
I feel, I think it's like a school lunch calendar.
Whenever we do
this every Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday. Well, Thursday's not typically a Molly stream night, but we have company coming in, so she's stream tonight instead of tomorrow. Whenever we both have stream nights, it usually means we're either ordering food delivered or else we're fixing something quick in the oven because we're both working. So frozen pizza is an easy fix.
There you go. I mean, it's better than what I had. I cooked a turkey today, but because I was busy doing a bunch of other stuff, I forgot it and left it in there 15 minutes too long, and so it was bone dry. 15 minutes, that's all it takes.
I was going to say, 15 minutes isn't that long for a turkey, but...
It is, unfortunately.
Oof.
Yeah. But whenever you're dealing with poultry, it just, or fish, it's just done.
Yeah.
There's more give with heavier meats. So anyways, the...
Do you want to go on break on the landing? It's a little past 11 now. No?
I'm good to
Okay.
keep.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So because we took one super late last time, so
It's true.
so you hit the ground, boom, billows outwards. You have your words back and forth as you just said. Mortimer, you take about several dozen steps forward, and then you're at the next ledge, 300-foot drop. Do you spend the other 6?
He sent you 2 down to give you guys a minute, so he would look down. Ready for another?
Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
He'll like kind of put a little pep in his step, like bend down to pick you guys up again. And it's yeah, I guess he'd spend the other 6 to do it again.
Based off tone, it looks like as you pick up Jack, he's like
He just closes his eyes this time.
Yeah.
He just goes,
I don't want to.
yeah.
And it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Uba, he actually looks excited for it.
Yeah, he quite enjoyed it.
I'm a
There you
city
go.
boy. Can't do this.
So you grab him, put him back up, and you do this jump. This side of the ground comes much faster than it did last time. 0.9 seconds instead of 1.1 or whatever it was. And you hit the ground, boom. And once again, nothing happens. Instead of a 8-foot diameter sphere, something like a 6-foot diameter circle that appears beneath him, and less smoke kicks up. But there you are. It's not like this ground down here is easy to traverse, but it doesn't require ridiculous jumps.
Good job. Good job, Mortimer. I'm just put me down.
Mortimer told you he'd be fine, Jack.
Yep, I trusted you. I'm ready to go down.
I could keep jumping.
No, we're good here. I'm like 99.9% sure we're great where we are.
Mortimer can't jump back out.
We will find a way out.
Maybe he could jump out.
You have the climbing
try
power
it.
stone. You got the climbing. Yeah, no. Just start leaping upward.
So he sets you guys down. And so we're planning on walking. Are we resting, taking a short rest here, or what are we doing here?
You don't really need to. Well, short rests aren't really a thing. I suppose they are for your characters, huh? You guys don't really need to rest because you just jump down 2 things and you're welcome to keep walking in. Picking your way through there, you can roll me a survival check.
Mortimer would sure like to take just like an hour here. It'd be real nice.
Yeah, I bet it sounds nice. You don't have to talk to me, though. You can talk to them. As you're making your way down the area, kind of picking your way through the stones and whatnot, eventually Mortimer gets back to smaller size. Again, it's not easily traversed. However, while this might be like very difficult terrain for the 2 of them, it's only difficult terrain for Mortimer in his large size. So at many points in time where you'll actually end up finding yourself kind of like walking around the step and seeing that Jack's kind of caught for a second, like looking for the best spot to either climb or jump down. And instead you just kind of reach over and grab him and move him down to the other spot. Now, while you and Jack have this kind of like a codependent relationship where you often do that, it might not quite be the same way with Uba. So Uba yourself, why don't you roll me an acrobatics check as you're trying to make your way through here? Not willing to be slowed down, though the terrain is difficult to traverse, not willing to be slowed down too easily by it and holding back behind this massive man and the aid he gives to the little one. If Mortimer were just walking in a straight line, there's no question that he would easily be able to outpace Uba. However, because Mortimer often has to stop, check on Jack, and even assist him, it allows those moments where you kind of like slow down for like several moments here and there, allow Uba with effort to actually keep pace with the 2 of you. As you guys are kind of like making your way down there, do you communicate at all, speak at all, or just kind of take in the sights?
I have a question about psionics in general. So PowerPoints obviously are a thing that you remember how whenever we ran out of mythic points, you described us as feeling mortal, looking mortal and all that. With the PowerPoints, is that something we physically feel? Do we feel like we've lost our abilities at all? Like how would that come across?
I like explaining it when you're low on PowerPoints, but you're not yet. When you're low on PowerPoints, you feel like mentally strained, just tired. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I didn't have coffee today and it's already 8 p.m. Fuck, it was a long day. You know what I mean? For those of you with caffeine addictions, you know what I'm talking about. And what I like describing it as when you're out of PowerPoints, especially if you don't have your sonic focus on, as having like a headache. If you don't have like your sonic focus on or PowerPoints, as being like a migraine. Like, oh, it doesn't mechanically affect you. It's just like you feel very taxed. Like, oh, why wasn't acetaminophen invented yet? Or whatever you guys use in Australia. I know it's a different drug.
Okay.
Okay. So
Jack would mostly keep to himself, partially out of just obvious, it's I've known you for about a day at most, and the second, I need you. You know, I don't want to. We need you around to kind of lead us through this place, so I don't want to scare you off by saying dumb shit right out the gate. That's Mortifer's job, not mine.
Yeah, I'm kind of, while grateful for, more or less rescuing me, he's kind of just been watching you guys and seeing what type of relationship you have. And like, he just watched Mortifer like grow massively. So he's just kind of trying to work stuff out in his own head.
I think if you just observing me and Jack and Mortifer in a singular day, you could tell we have at the very least a very playful relationship. Even if Mortifer doesn't get probably a good 75% of the jokes that I throw his way. It's very playful
anyway.
And maybe even to some, it might even seem like a condescending kind of relationship, but it's genuinely at heart not. And we seem to work well. I seem to be wildly useless out in the wild. Like I am. If we needed to eat and sleep, which you might even still think we do, I would be a burden to Mortifer, in almost every way out in the wilds. I don't look like I belong out here, and I don't act like I belong out here.
So while you guys are making your way down there, I just want a perception check. This could be a group check, so one of you could roll. And while one of you chooses to roll, do we know who has the highest perception?
I have a 10.
So it's you so far. Mine's a 7.
I have a 12.
All right, we have a winner.
I keep yawning. All right, so you as you're traveling along, making your way like through to the base of this thing, you notice that the rock face, how it was sheer up above and it became very rocky down below. You pushed hard and traveled for several hours down along this rocky ledge, but then it comes to another area where, and you couldn't see this before because of how high up you were, how dark it was down here. So it was like distance and illumination and whatnot. When you finally come down here, you see that eventually the rocky area that you're coming through, there's probably a moment where, Jack's kind of like picking his way along. And my apologies, I meant Uba's kind of picking his way along, and like skids to a quick stop as he's standing at a sheer cliff face. That then drops down again, but now it looks like a dome. You can actually see in front of you what looks to be a dome. You're not sure, without maybe making an intelligence check or whatever, how deep it is or how wide it is. But there is a sheer.
You mean like
the
a crater?
Inside of like a crater, exactly.
Okay.
But sheer, like perfectly smooth.
Like an explosion did that. Would be Jack's
but
first.
An explosion that did probably something very, 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 again, blasted smoothly, like you're
not natural
inside a swimming pool.
Unnatural.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like a void came in and just kind of went whoop whoop and just ate everything that it touched.
How far is the
drop? A melon baller. You don't know yet without making some sort of intelligence check, but with that perception check you make, Uba, you did notice at one point in time, just before this, probably like less than a minute before this, you did notice like movement once again to your, what would be your right, because you're heading down. So towards the barren area, as opposed to back towards the tree area, you do notice some movement and shifting happening over in that direction.
Below or on our level?
On your level, but we're not talking like right nearby. It's kind of like one of those, like you stop, you think something catches your eye for a second, so you stop and you look, and you're pretty sure now that you focus, you saw a shift happening over there. But it's a good distance off, a few hundred yards or meters off. That you saw, like you just barely saw movement over there, like what the, okay, because it's not where you are, it's almost towards, because now that you're at the basin, you can kind of like see up the wall on this side. You also kind of see up the wall on the other side of the chasm, right? It's coming to its You see it like up on the other wall, moving around, and that's why you can see it like again off to the right, down into like the barren-esque area. Not only does he come to a hard stop, the other two of you are able to as well. And I suppose here we can take another quick break.
Okay, we will be back in a few minutes then. Do not go anywhere. Boom,
and then
baby.
Mortifer, when you push him down the hole, what happens is instead of like fly, Jack's just like as he kind of like skates down it on his fucking skateboard because he's wicked balla, and he just Shaun White's that shit.
That's
Wow.
true. I am a Shaun White snowboarding aficionado.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. That was a fun stream. Thank you all for coming out. And Shaun White and
And Jake, thanks for, endearing Scott, I guess.
yeah. That's it. That's all we got.
And it becomes the Mortifer and Jake show. As I
Is there-
snowboard into my new profession, clearly.
Well, it's Mortifer.
You know what? Wait a minute.
Hoopa.
If I was a more enterprising individual, we could probably do like sandboarding. I bet you that would be a very popular sport in Dark Sun.
Anything
Well-
that's fun would be popular in Dark Sun.
That's
This is a
fair.
wonderful
That's
place.
also true. It's also true. All right, Scott, take it away.
So you guys are sitting at the edge of this dome. Roll me a perception check to try to see down there, because I think, do all of you have dark vision? No, not Mike.
Not me. Not
Was it-
me.
Perception check for the two of you.
Oh.
Okay.
Even without dark vision, you saw better than me. Ooh!
Wow, Jesus. Okay, so Jack and Mortifer can't see anything other than the fact that it goes into darkness. You are actually able to see, Uba, that this is cut out, like bored out or whatever. It's almost like, again, like a melon baller or whatever it was that happened here to cause this to take place. But what you see is that it actually stretches down. It's just beyond your typical, like you can barely see. You're stretching your ability to see to even get to the bottom. The whole thing is about 80 feet down to the center. And in which case, it is 80 feet down. If you're looking at the center directly across from you, like the other side is about 160 feet. And so if you're standing around the bowl on this side, 160 feet from here to here, meaning it looks like the whole thing was done from like a 80-foot radius sphere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So 160-foot diameter hole that goes 80 feet down. Now remember, because of the fact that it is a slope and it works like a sphere, it does have a huge curve to it.
So we
And
could
it looks
get
sheer and
down.
perfect and sleep the whole way. Sorry, go ahead.
So we could theoretically sort of slide down.
Yeah, with an acrobatics check. Yeah. If you're as long as you're not wearing like boots that have traction, because that would if you got to do what's that movie called, like Risky Business. You know, get the socks going.
So he just kind of looks to you two and says, "Do you guys need to go down there?"
When he says that, I imagine Jack, with his perception check, spends a moment looking into the hole and thinking. He feels the pull.
Yeah. It doesn't adhere to any other examples that we've come across, but none of them have ever... Each one has been entirely different. One kept... And I look to Mortifer. Think about it. One kept one alive indefinitely, right? The only way to end his suffering was to pull him off the obsidian and do something else with it. Then what happened to the next one? He got turned into a puddle. Nothing like being kept alive undead that way. And what happened when Einar released everything? We absorbed it and we're fine. A gust of wind blew through the city. This is another one of them. It's just a different reaction. Everyone seems to have a different reaction with whether it's because of what it's coming into contact with, or because each one is just as individual as each person on this earth. I don't know. But I'm positive that's exactly what we're dealing with now. Uba,
So we need to go
whatever-
down again.
Yes, we're gonna have to go down. And Uba,
What
whatever's
if
down
Knight
there.
might need a minute? He might be able to make that jump one more time, but Mortifer does not
Whatever's-
know how many more times he can jump right now.
Just looks
You know,
to
the legs aren't tired or anything, just the added weight and
Mort. Oh, I see what Mortifer's doing now. It even takes Jack a minute. Now, then he actually, when it clicks, he actually just turns and gives you his attention.
just a moment or several, and Mortifer would be fine. And just like realizing there's no words he can use to salvage this, he'll turn around and just go sit like Indian style for a moment. Is it still called Indian style? That's
Cross-legged,
right.
doesn't matter.
Cross-legged.
I always say full lotus if you're getting your feet like up on top of each other.
As
There
a
you
kid,
go.
it's like what we were. It's like I know it's not the right phrase now, so apologies. I don't know what the right phrase
We're
is now.
old men, all right, all of us.
Yeah. I'll go sit cross-legged on the ground.
I don't know if they call it that in
I don't know.
in Australia. When you sit down cross-legged, did you guys call that Indian style when you were kids?
Nah.
What did you call it?
They just said sit down and cross your legs.
There you go.
Okay,
Fair enough.
So you go plop down, and Jack will turn to Uba, and
Crisscross applesauce? That doesn't.
that might be for like little
Oh
kids.
no, that's right. Oh my god, my daughter's school, they call it applesauce.
There you go.
I'm gonna-
I don't know. I've never heard cripple cross applesauce, but they say, "All right, everybody, applesauce," so we can read a book. They actually say that. So I don't know if the person that's in chat is either really young or has a child. But my daughter actually.
First of all, if you're really young, we don't condone you watching this.
depends on how young. But yes.
It's so annoying though that like there's so many things that like aren't politically correct to say, but we were taught to say, and like that's not a phrase I ever say because it's like how often do I sit that way or talk about doing it, and so it's just like it just spat out, and I was like, oh, that's not the right way to say that, and then I was like, my brain was like, how do I describe? I'm going to pretzel my legs and sit. I'm going to
Just saying.
Applesauce.
I'm going to crisscross applesauce my legs.
Is that just like a conversation Mortifer is having on his way to sitting down in his head? He's like,
Mortifer's going to crisscross applesauce.
fucking perfect. Perfect. God, that's canon now, whether you want it
Pulls
to
out
be
a
or
little
not.
juice box from his pouch and puts the straw.
If it makes you feel any better, Jake, Uba, when he was traveling through, they asked if you had any food or anything. The trees were all smashed down and
Oh.
broken, but you did come across a couple of trees that
Scott,
still had the fruit on them.
We
You
are-
have a few apples on your person
There
if
you
you'd
go.
like.
We're just old, my dude. Kids who are, they're saying like, kids in their 20s and 18, like that's what they said when they were a kid.
So it's those Gen Y kids.
It is literally just a generational thing.
Uh,
Ooh, okay, that's always fun to feel.
my younger brother's in his 20s, 26.
Yeah,
I have two
but
brothers, 26.
It's
I'll have to
Eric.
ask them.
Eric's just Eric.
Yeah.
So turning to Uba as he goes and plops down. Fair warning to be as forthright as we possibly can. Every person we've had with us come into contact with what I believe is in the center. Now, I can't say that what's in the center is actually what's in the center, just kind of taking a guess. But if it's true, and you come along with us, let's just say it'd be a first if you lived after the whole thing. Because no one we've had with us has lived through it.
He looks at you and just says, "What are you guys into?"
Well, Jack, in a kind of a flurry, in a wide smile, he starts pulling out drugs. He's like, the question is, what are you into? And he's like, you have your pick. But beyond this, I wish I had an answer. Because we're still trying to figure it out. You get through this, and you live. We'll talk more. And you won't wake up not really remembering who I am, like you did this morning. And he will flash another wide smile. Rest up, Mortifer. You're gonna need to leap down there when you can.
Mortimer just needs an hour's, unless you're going to retort, Jake.
No, he'd just kind of walk off and he'd like sit down, pull an apple out of his pack, and he's like, I'm gonna die. Should probably eat one of these before I do.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Jack,
Do
as
you
he's walking.
crisscross applesauce as you eat the apple?
Maybe.
When you say that, as you have like the apple, Jack walking away just would spin back on his heels, take a couple steps back, and be like, the sooner you accept it now, the less traumatic it'll be when it happens. And then he spins back and walks towards Mortifer.
So, because an hour is going to pass, because Mortifer is a wimp and can't handle it, you guys need to, don't forget to spend a mythic point.
I did.
Oh
He's
my!
fucking-
Don't
he's a
see.
fucking-
Here's how Scott gets you. By the
He's a
way,
fucking demigod.
and I'm sure you've realized this playing with Scott at this point, Jake. But when he makes you feel guilty or bad or like a big old
Oh,
baby.
you got muted, Mike.
He makes you feel guilty,
He makes you feel guilty, and
bad, like you're doing something wrong. If what you're doing is something that'll make you stronger going into the next fight. So if you want to rest and get your power.
Just so you know, Jake is currently running a failing kingdom over on Wednesday mornings on Aurora and Kingmaker.
Have you been listening to
Is
Scott's
it
advice?
failing? No.
No, actually, the difficulties they have all come from chat's interactions. Specifically, somebody named Abusive Snaga. I'm talking to you. It's not all your fault. I'm just kidding. But
Malu, I'm the handsome bald guy. That's me.
no.
My wife's in chat complimenting me, Scott. I've never noticed your wife come into chat to compliment you.
No.
Wow. Must say something about the quality.
She actually does. She doesn't do it for Lost Initiative anymore because she knows I don't always look at chat. But on my channel she does. But nobody knows what her screen name is, and she says it in like in wife code.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, stupid ugly beard man. Nice job DMing, slow clap. You're like, that's my wife. She loves me, I think.
Okay, that's not my wife's code. She's actually a good person. What did your parents do to you?
She's a Patriots fan. She can't be that good.
Clearly, she's
She
6
married
Super
you,
Bowls
so
good.
Really, her like decision making is questionable. So I don't know. I've never met her, but I've got a couple questions at least. You know, there's a couple like red flags.
Don't worry, nothing that my parents haven't asked her already. So over the course of that hour, with you again maintaining the DC 23 perception check that you got beforehand, Mike, because they have more time to like really kind of like look at it, study it, while getting yourself prepared. Let's be serious. You're probably going over your drugs and potions.
Oh yeah.
Same as you, sir. To see if there's anything on your person that might be interesting. You realize the pull is happening from this crater. At first, you felt it was pulling you into the crater. But then you realize it's not pulling you into the crater. It's pulling you from the center of it.
Yeah.
Not down below,
Like
but
the
directly
hovering
across.
center? Yeah.
So 80 feet above the ground, 80 feet away from where you are right now.
I have a great idea.
That's my fear. I kind of like maybe over to my shoulder as Uba's finishing off the apple. Weird question, but can you fly?
He just looks at you quizzically. He's like, "No, can you?"
No. All right. That means we have to. I'll just let him think it was his idea. And I kind of get up and go make sure Mortifer's ready to go. You're gonna get to hear some of Jack's own monologuing to himself now that you're hanging around.
As he hears you walking over, he'll quickly be like, I'm ready, I'm fine, Mortifer's good to go.
Mortifer, we have a problem.
Oh.
The thing that we think is there, it's hovering in the center, about 8 Mortifers high, maybe 9 or 10. Trying to
Mortifer.
think.
More
No,
like
yeah,
6
he's 11.
Mortifers.
He's 11 feet, right?
Yeah.
And he says
11
80 feet in the air.
11 Mortifer. What? 11 what?
I'm 11'9".
Oh, you're almost 12.
Which is 11.75, right?
Well, 11
Right.
foot 9 inches. So yeah.
That's 6.8 Mortifers high.
All right. So probably I'll be like, I don't know, maybe 7 of you in the air, you know, stacked on top of each other. If you can, it's about that high up.
Mortifer can double in height twice, so it would only be 5 Mortifers higher. Jack knows how higher.
Yeah. So how many feet do you actually get?
12 to 20.
12.
It's like 23. It's about 46, 47 feet high.
You get about halfway there.
Plus your wingspan above that, which is
Oh, that's
what?
true.
Which is
Go
what,
on.
half your height?
Yeah,
Is that right?
half your height minus the width of your shoulders. So
yeah.
So if you're saying 46, so add another 20 feet, so 46 becomes like 66 feet high. You can hold them.
He could get us within
I
about.
just need to jump 20 feet.
Oh, God.
Well, you can also.
Yeah. Well, that would get us almost all the way there.
Two questions. How the type
Yes.
of rock that this is it very breakable looking? Like can I smash?
No, typical greystone. Well, you could break it, but typical greystone. So I mean, we're talking just standard hard rock.
Okay.
Jack kind of lets the sentence linger, like, "Well, that gets us almost all the way there."
Are there big bouldery things? If I smash the cliff face, would it fill this hole?
I mean,
Is Mortifer just like looking around, like for rocks?
Oh, hold on a second. Maybe, but like you're talking, you'd have to cause an avalanche. Like that's not an avalanche, but a rock slide. That's not easy.
Mortifer would try it, or
Well, remember, rock has a lot of health points.
this involves breaking things. So Mortifer's thinking hard, and for him, smashing things is what he does. Mortifer could hit the rocks to try to fill in the hole, or
What? No.
Mortifer could throw Jack in the air, or
Closer.
Mortifer could kill the giant lizards and drag their bodies in the hole and stand on them.
Actually, I was thinking you might just jump, but
Yeah, how?
you could
How
just jump. You would just need to jump 11 feet. You would jump way more than that. Like you would probably just even need to do what would be considered like a small hop. We just need to know what it is first. So all you need to do for the first time is just get big and look, see if we can see what it is, and then we can
Scott,
plan around that.
trying to picture this, could I jump from the, if I was gargantuan and I ran and jumped from the edge, or if I was at the bottom and jumped up, would I be able to reach it?
So a running jump, assuming 20-foot run or whatever it is first, I think it's 20-foot run first. It's whatever your acrobatics check result is how far you jump. Acrobatics is typically a dexterity check, but I'm allowed to use strength instead of dexterity for that one check because you're just like because it's more like an athletics thing. Do you have a high base speed or no?
It's 20, but because of my armor.
Then you actually have a penalty to that kind of jump check because you have a lower than normal base speed. You say if you took your armor off, you go back up. Because it's a strength check, you'd be allowed to use your feat of strength ability. But I would also make it so you need a DC 80, which you're sitting here going. But if you wanted to, because you're gargantuan, that doesn't make sense. That's the same for you as it is for others because your legs and whatnot are so long. I'd give you some sort of extra modifier for it. I just don't know how I'd do it.
I'm trying to think. So I'm times 2 times 2. So I'm 4 times my normal size and 80 feet. It'd be like the average person trying to get 20 feet, right?
Well, because your gait, I'm just thinking of your jump, because like your gait at that, like I have a long gait as just a person at just shy of 6 feet, right? Like I have a pretty long gait. I imagine Mortifer would be like, I don't know, being 40 something feet tall. Does he have a little teeny tiny gait? I suppose just because he moves slowly. Boom. That's why his speed doesn't go up. Boom. So if you're moving slow and lumbering, I don't know. I'd probably give you like an additional 15 feet for free, just to be nice. So you have to beat a DC 55. Did I do my math right? 65.
I don't know.
Then you do your
20,
mythic power. Yeah, that's a DC 45 you have to try to go against. Yeah. I don't think you're good at that skill either, are you?
If it's acrobatics, I've got a 0.
Yeah, but you'd switch it to strength. So it would go from 0 to +6.
Well, I think we're overthinking it a little much right now anyway.
Yeah.
Because why don't we get there and look? I just know it's in the air. If it's a person, I mean, it could be an object that also is really big that we could reach. Like, we should just make our way there.
You are there. You are looking, and there's nothing in the air.
Oh, we're at the center? We went down and are
No,
looking
you're not
up?
down. You might be talking about perspective.
We're
Like,
as far down. So
Yeah,
we're
no,
at-
I know we're at, like, the crater. I know we're there, and it's, like, directly
Yeah, but we're as
across.
far away now as we would be if we were below it.
Mhm.
I think
This
like,
is fair.
if I got gargantuan, I guess I could lift us up higher, but
Because
still
it's
the
a
same radius away.
it's a
as our
sphere,
feet.
right?
Yeah,
It's a
no,
sphere.
I know what you're saying. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
So I guess.
So typically I could get us a lot closer if I was gargantuan and you were like standing on my shoulder or my hand, but like, wait, how big does my hammer get whenever I'm that big?
I could sit at the tip of your hammer, and you could lift it like an elevator.
That's a really good question. I imagine pretty friggin' long. Actually, you probably could do that. He could literally sit on the base of the hammer, like, hold on, Jack, and then they like,
Yeah,
so that's very heavy for you.
There we got
That's
it.
got to get us close, if not all the way there. If I just do like even a little baby jump at that point would get me pretty close. And we'd still both be kind of like touching at that point.
All right, let's do it. That's like, I imagine even Mortifer just even says like, what about hammer? And Jack just smacks himself like, how come I didn't think of that? You're a
He's
genius,
probably upset.
Mortifer.
I imagine he doesn't think of it. He's upset, so he just like angrily swings his hammer, and then like as it's swinging, he looks at the edge of it and he's like, "Mortifer, longer arm."
Didn't Jack just clap?
Jack on.
Mortifer, I'm only gonna say this once. And these words are only gonna escape my lips while nobody else can hear them. As he looks behind. You're a genius.
Roll me a perception check, please, Jake. You know that Jack has low standards.
I was gonna say, you want me to roll deception to see how believable it is, because it's very, but I want it to be believable. So,
So you are going to get to the bottom of the hole.
yeah, I think that's the way we want to do it.
So I'm guessing I'll gargantuan size now.
Get to the
which
bottom
is-
of the hole.
It'll be easier for me to climb down if I'm
Yeah,
gargantuan
absolutely.
size.
It's not even really a climb. It's again, it's like a dome. So you could step down. It's actually more of an acrobatics check than anything else.
Either way,
Unless you want to jump.
it's gonna be easier if I'm giant. So I'm gonna go ahead and go gargantuan before I try to get down.
Sure. So you spend what is it, 6 points or however many to get big?
I think I'm looking right now. So it's 7 total.
How long does it last? You
1
probably
minute per level.
Okay, cool. So it lasts for a long time. So you get gargantuan says, do you want to spend 1 power point or expend your psychic focus to regain it afterwards to do it for free to absorb the first 50 damage of the fall and just jump down?
If it's only 1 point, yeah, I'll do that.
Do you want to just spend the point?
That's fine. Yeah.
Sure. So boop, you spend 6 and then 1 to absorb the first. And then do me a favor, roll me an acrobatics check.
Who are you talking
Hang on, Jack.
Yeah, but this is easy though.
Okay, all right.
That was almost a 2.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you crush it. So more or less what you do is you kind of like get bigger and you kind of get them on and you just like lean to the edge. You kind of like brace yourself with your hind foot a little back and then you kind of like lean into it and then kind of like thrust yourself downwards so that your extended foot is already like another, I don't know, 8-10 feet into the hole before you even launch yourself down. And then you do the absorb 50. You just hit the ground and kind of more of a lurch than before because you guys can feel the chi forces of that like 30-foot drop you absorbed. But nobody takes damage or anything like that. It's kind of like he just lurches and he has to hold on to you. You guys are like, whoa, as he pulls you guys back. And there you are. You're standing in the center of the hole. Now that you're standing in the center of the hole, you can, specifically Mortifer and Jack, you feel tingling energy. You feel a connection with something inside of this area. You weren't in the area before, but the world feels wrong here. But at the same time, you feel stronger. You feel like you have an ability you didn't before. The world almost feels like you might even have control over it.
Oh,
a degree.
don't tempt me with that.
To a degree, a small degree.
If I feel that,
I guess like a grain of sand. Degree.
yeah. If I feel that, I'm curious.
You could feel reality.
So we have a Peter tingle.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh Jesus.
That
That was a funny part of that movie.
was really good.
The best part was that conversation at the end.
Well, I loved how they explained Mysterio.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the conversation between Aunt May and Dude.
No, I'm just talking about the movie as a whole. Okay, well, can he lift us before we do any experimentation? Are we lifted? Are we at the center?
He can do that. Yeah, he puts you guys up. Now his hammer. Again,
Well, actually-
doubles and doubles.
Yeah.
So it's not like so Jack by himself could easily sit on top of this thing and like kind of like lie on it and hold on or whatever. The two of you guys could definitely get on it together. You just need an acrobatics check to be safe.
Well, that's not great for me.
Because you have to remember, a mole isn't like this massive head usually. It's just because he's so big.
Sweet.
Hey, nice roll.
Sir?
Wow.
Hey, nice roll.
You guys are equally balanced. So it's like on the other side of the head, and Mortifer's like, "There you go." Mortifer, I imagine you don't do it like a quick thrust up.
go.
You go nice and slow. So your maul has what did we say you were able to do beforehand? Like you're 40 something feet. You got like 46 feet, add another 20 on top of that, so it's 66. Then you're easily adding like another 15 on top of that. Excuse me. More than that, because the maul is, especially if you look at the image of your character, is half your height. That's like another 20 feet on top of that as well. So it's like 86 feet. So you can get them up there. And as he's rising up, Mike, you can feel it stronger and stronger and stronger as you're being risen up, coming towards something that just makes you feel different. The world feels wrong. Everything just seems out of place. Things seem to be moving and stopping simultaneously. It's strange.
Maybe this isn't what I thought this was.
even as you get closer, even Uba, even you start to feel something's wrong, but not like you have some sort of grasp. Like the world is wrong. You start to have second thoughts, second guessing whether or not this is a good plan. I imagine you hold it together.
Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, you hold it together pretty easily. Maybe even not even showing any expression on your face, like Mike really cares to roll a sense motive or something.
Yeah, I'll roll. I try. I'm not very observant though. Like most characters I'm good at lying with, they're bad at telling if he's being lied to. So there you go.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Yeah.
He's holding it together. You probably assume it's just ignorance that he doesn't, but it's you are just a courageous person there, Uba. So all of a sudden, like rising up and up and up, and then Mortifer, you
I'll
see
even
them
start
there.
reaching my own fingertips up slowly.
Mortifer, you all of a sudden you come to your full extent of the hammer. This comes to your fullest extent. What do you do?
Can I reach it from here?
Hold on. You wait.
Oh, okay.
You go to your fullest extent.
I would look up to see if anything's happening.
You look up. You see where the shaft of your maul meets the base of the head.
I would yell up. Well, did we get it?
You don't hear anything, guys.
Do I get a response?
No.
I would probably wait a second, and then I would repeat the question. Well, did we get it?
Nothing.
I would like he'd probably do like a little jump, and then he would bring the hammer back down.
So you do like a little jump, like a 1 foot jump.
Yeah.
As you come down from the jump, all of a sudden, like the hammer slips from your grasp.
Oh yeah.
You're like, what the? And it's still there. Like the shaft of the hammer is still held perfectly there.
How
But, like,
secure is it?
Now that you like are looking and you can probably like lean to the side a little bit and look at it, the head of the hammer is gone. But the shaft is still held in place.
If I pull at it, it won't move.
You go over to it and you try to grab at the thing. So now you have to like jump up to get it, which is easy to do. But you're sitting there and you're trying to like pull down as hard as you can, like putting all your weight into
No,
it. Like,
I don't think he'd try to pull. He would see if he could pull it back down, but he wouldn't be super trying to.
okay,
What
if you
if
just
we're
give it like a quick little look, because you're off the ground now, like tippy toes kind of holding. You grab the thing, you try to like pull it down just a little bit, but it doesn't budge with like just tugs.
Mortifer's going to try to jump up and hold his own weight on there.
Okay, so you jump up and just try to hold your own weight as though it was like a rope in gym class.
Yeah.
Yep. You can feel the thing kind of like move just slightly to the side as it kind of like takes like the swaying motion of it, the G forces of you kind of like going into it moves slightly, but we're talking a few degrees. But yeah, it holds your weight like.
I think Mortifer would try the same thing he did before. So the head of my hammer is gone, and I don't see them. I just see nothingness above the top. So Mortifer's going to hold on to the hammer, and shrink back to normal size
Okay.
and pull himself back up like he did with the rope. And he's gonna see what the hell's going on up here.
Wade's so happy as this awesome area. He's like, guys, grappling hook, give me one.
Yeah,
I know.
He's like discovered like this great new thing. He's discovered ziplining.
Yeah.
He has invented ziplining in Dark Souls.
Surfer doesn't want to admit that he's having fun, but he's having fun.
Yeah, I would be too.
It pulls you all the way. You can see that you're holding this little stick suspended in the air, way above the ground down below, which wouldn't scare you because you could easily absorb that impact if you fell.
I would reach up. Now that I can actually feel the top of my hammer, I would try to reach up and like.
You reach up and you see your hand disappear as your hand also kind of gets like locked into something. And then almost like just using your hand as its own anchor, you can just kind of like pull yourself up like you're doing like a chin up.
If I need to roll for that, I will. But I
No, it's a one hand chin up. I imagine Mortimer does
I
this
would
easily.
make sure to grab my hammer and pull it up with me, but I would climb in.
Okay. You do a one hand chin up, pull yourself up, and you bring the shaft up with you. And the two of you are rising up and up and up. And then, Jack, all of a sudden, you're reaching up yourself, and all of a sudden, you see your fingertips, your wrist, and everything start to disappear at the same time that you, Uba, see that happening as well. And imagine there's one of those moments where Uba, you're like, maybe I'm not holding it together anymore.
I imagine like my hand like slowly like goes away and about here. Jack just kind of like looks to him's like, uh-oh.
And then
He would probably try and drop flat, like on the mall.
yeah, you probably would, and you literally see Jack getting like disappearing as it's going up, and just seemingly okay with it. And then all of a sudden, you flat on the mall, maybe even trying to roll off of it last second. Mortimer's pushing up too quick for you to get out, and all of a sudden, you disappear as well. But you don't disappear. Instead, you do appear, standing still on top of the hammer, one of you hugging it, the other one looking down and just barely standing on the hammer, amongst nothing. All around you is a dull gray, more like an off-white, of nothing.
Do I
all
feel
around you.
anything here?
Hold on. Of nothing all around you. But two things to note. One, it's not quite nothing, because immediately in front of you is a 60-foot diameter ball of stone, just free floating with a slight spin on whatever axis is currently on it. Just free floating and spinning right there. You can also see like chunks of like dust and dirt and whatnot kind of floating around it as well. That's like immediately in front of you when you appear. And then also looking about, you can see that there's other chunks or bit here and there as well. You also, the second thing to note, Mathis, this isn't the first time Jack was here. And so he knows how to control himself.
Okay, interesting. Can I, knowing that, like, so you would actually, Jake, you would, Uba would probably see, there's just those moments of thought, contemplation, seeing the thing in front of him, and then Jack would just be suddenly suspended, like, in the air a couple of feet, and being able to move around like he's flying. If I was able to, can I exert control over this orb in any way?
You can choose the orb to be down, if you would like, with as much strength of gravity as you want it to be.
As in, like, I can make the orb have gravity?
For you, yes.
For me.
You can choose for that
Don't
to be
wanna do
down,
that
so you
yet.
can go to it.
I want to take an empty vial out of my pocket, just a nonsense vial. I just want to throw it at the orb, and I want to see what happens.
Sure. When you throw it lightly or with force?
Lightly. If it's gonna, I just want to see what happens when they make contact. Nothing more.
Okay, you take the thing, you throw it there, and it goes. It's kind of like how if you throw something in space. You know what I mean? There's nothing impacting, speeding it up, slowing it down. Nothing. You're just kind of like doing a weird axis spin, like a slow axis spin as it's traveling forward, and eventually the thing would shatter against the orb, whatever potion that was that you threw.
Yeah, it was an empty vial, just a vial.
Yeah. So it would shatter against the orb.
I'll slowly pull myself to it.
And the shattered glass would kind of like.
Does the orb? Do I feel like there's anything pulling? Like, do I feel anything pulling me to the orb? Does the orb seem significant in any way beyond it being a weird black orb?
You don't know yet. You need a bit more time to examine. All of a sudden, the thing that you're holding on to, Jake, that you're kind of like hugging on the ground because you drop flat, all of a sudden that thrusts up a little bit. Woo!
he just would yell out to Jack. Probably he'd just yell like, "This is wrong. Where are we?"
Maybe even
When
like
you yell out to Jack, the speech sounds so distant and so tinny, like if somebody was to be screaming into like a large like soup can or something like that around their mouth. It just sounds off and distant. Like you don't hear your voice, you hear the echo of your voice.
do I
But not
hear
like
him?
an actual echo, but like a single
Yeah.
echo, like it's removed. Yeah, you do hear it. To you again, it sounds normal.
Okay. I'd whip my head in that kind of like even just grabbing my attention. It's hard to explain. Which imagine that you're being that gravity is in both ways and that you sit in the center. Just focus on that really hard as I kind of like float towards the orb.
Okay, you say that, you start floating, giving him some matrix lessons.
Trying to.
Your voice sounds normal to you, and Jake, his voice sounds normal to Uba. So yours comes off as tinny and weird. So more or less, he's like, just imagine that's gravity, and then just kind of like goes towards it at whatever speed you dictate there, Mathis.
Open your
Enough.
mind.
I want to get towards it so that my fingertip can touch it. I just want to see if is it cold, is it rough, is it gonna fucking explode?
You move towards it pretty easily, and you go over and you touch it. Feels like stone.
Okay, then I'll just kind of like pull closer so my whole palm's on it. Is it just like a smooth rock?
I mean, it's perfectly smooth, just like what it was carved from.
Obsidian.
Mm-mm.
No?
Greystone.
Greystone. Got it. If I put my ear against it and knock on the stone, does it sound like it's like a thin layer of stone? Or does it just feel like it just sounds solid?
Here.
It just
No,
sounds-
wait, this is my house.
It sounds like just solid rock, like you're knocking on a rock. All of a sudden, the thing that you're kind of hugging onto the ground and like watching him moving, you feel it shift ever so slightly.
Talking to me?
No, Jake.
Yeah, I would say Uba.
The thing he's touching.
The thing the top of my hammer that you're resting on.
Yeah,
Ah.
shift slightly.
I'd try and do what Jack said, really. But I wouldn't try and move, but I would just try and focus. And I don't know like what's going on, but seeing him kind of float, I'd just attempt to.
Intelligence check. And you do. Right as the hammer beneath your body, you start to like rise off of it, feeling yourself pulled towards it like you're falling, because like you're choosing for that to be down, and so you start falling backwards, not very fast at first, but you like feel yourself pulled away like you're falling backwards. It feels fucking weird. All of a sudden, you see the hammer starting to get smaller. Beneath you, the whole head of the hammer, the shaft of the hammer that came up behind it, getting smaller, and then all of a sudden, you don't have full control over the gravity. The distance between you and that thing, if there is such a thing as distance, is closed very fast as it becomes full gravity, and you end up hitting the thing full on.
Maybe over the other side of the orb. You okay?
No.
You're
Nine
breathing.
points of bludgeoning
Oof.
as you hit the thing.
So the next thing Jack would try is actually taking something out of his backpack, wrapped in some burlap. It's a piece of obsidian from the obsidian mine where everything went down. Jack would wrap the end part of it in cloth so he has a piece to grab onto and see if he can like push it into the orb and see if it does.
As you're doing that, you see Mortifer's hands reach up from the other side.
Oh, no.
And then Mortifer's face, everything starts to pull himself through as he's like one hand chin-upping himself into this realm. And why don't we end here?
All right. When are we playing again then? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
All right.
Mike's like, no!
I'm just curious
Not
what's going to
2
happen next. Just don't forget. We can't forget is the problem.
I will be here.
You will be here. I will be here as well. I'm not going to be anywhere. All right. Well,
Everyone will be here.
Jake, thanks for joining us, dude. I hope you enjoyed
Thanks for...
feeling out Uba a bit.
Yeah, no, it was good. Thanks for having me, guys.
So good. I guess you don't have a Twitter, so I guess we could start with you the easiest. Do you do anything on the internet?
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow,
I don't know.
that's-
I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
so rude.
I
That's
don't
the
know.
sweetest of you. Do you even lift?
Well, if you don't have a Twitter, so I'm that makes me question
Do
immediately.
you even exist?
Unless you have a Twitter and Scott lied, because I was told you don't have a Twitter.
No, I don't have one.
Okay.
No, I play on Scott's channel on Wednesday, Aurora Kingmaker. So you can find me there and now here.
Tony, all right. I don't feel bad anymore. All right, that's fine. I knew you were playing on Scott's channel, but I meant, did you have your own like YouTube channel or Twitch channel or anything?
No.
Okay, cool. Wade, what about you?
I'm Wade, Lord Minion 777 on YouTube, Minion 777 on Twitch. I stream games. I play games. I made a fun video series with Mark recently. Markiplier, to those who don't know. He was in town and we filmed some stuff at my house.
Nice.
And I don't think he's dropped anything yet video wise. But he's got some cool stuff coming out that well, I hope it all turns out really well. I haven't gotten to see it all yet either. So keep an eye out for that too. And a big charity stream coming up September 21st. September 21st. I couldn't forget. Very important
How
that I
could
remember.
how could you ever forget? Scott.
Hello. All right. Really quickly, it's going to be Aurorum Kingmaker, Aurorum Regicide, and the Aurorum community game with members of the community actually joining the campaign with us, which Jake's going to be part of the next storyline. He'll be doing that soon too. So wicked cool there, as well as the things you see here on Lost Initiative. Just check me out. /Delric. Google it.
Works. And if you guys enjoyed the show and you want to, if you missed the show, if you're a subscriber, you can check out the VODs immediately. If not, you can check them out for free over on the Lost Initiative YouTube channel 24 to 48 hours later. If you enjoyed the show and you want to support us, you can always hit that follow button, that subscribe button, that Twitch Prime button. It just gives us free money, which is always nice. And if you want to F the party over, you can always create cursed items and cursed lovers for Wade down in the Patreon link below.
Please, good stuff.
It supports the show directly and allows us to keep chugging along.
I have items coming your way soon.
Like 6 times and I had to eat corpses. Give me a break.
I have items coming your way soon. It's just not the appropriate time this session is given to.
Good items, please. I can't.
And on that, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday, right? Sweet.
Yes.
Faerun, goodbye.